On record for what's been documented is the second regular review for both parents in this file and the permanency planning hearing. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Nicole Underwood, lawyer guardian ad litem for the minor child.
Ms. Saja Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. De La Garza.
Randy De La Garza, the foster care worker with Fostering Solutions.
Michael Brooks, I'm the attorney for Harold Hollis.
Okay.
Harold?
Yeah, Harold Hollis.
Michael McFarland, representing mother. Please introduce yourself.
Sorry.
Erica Hollis.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Underwood.
Your Honor, I was able to meet with the minor child at her school this last reporting period. She is doing very well there. She was excited and happy to see me. I've become quite familiar with her over the last several months. Her speech is just blossoming. We were in a room where there was several little stuffed animals and things on a desk, and she was going through and identifying all the animals and talking to me about them. She is thriving not only at school but also in her placement. She's very familiar with the placement. Enjoys being around her cousins and is thriving. She now has classes, which I think she may have had at the last reporting period as well, but there was one issue where she needed to go either to urgent care or the ER. She had what seemed like an asthmatic episode, but that was treated appropriately, and I believe she has an inhaler now for that. I had to ask the court for an ex parte order, which this court granted, allowing the placement to take the child on spring break, as the parents were not willing to agree to that. But other than that, her needs are being met in her current placement. She's in a least restrictive environment, and I believe that staying there continues to be in her best interest.
Thank you. Testimony today, Ms. Thomas.
Thank you, Honor. I'll ask Ms. De La Garza to be sworn in at this time.
I swear witness stand. Ms.
Right.
Thomas, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Ms. De La Garza, you've prepared a court report for today's hearing. And your cover page indicates that there are the case service plans for the parents, the initial case service plan through Orchard's Family Services, a couple of certificates from the MSU Extension regarding mom's completion of those, a couple of courses, and then a correspondence email from Orchard's. Are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to any of those documents that I've listed?
No.
Okay. And the case service plans that are included in the court report, those look like they are not signed by the parents. Do you have any updated signed versions at this time?
Yes, I do, and I brought copies with me today.
Okay. And have you been able to circulate those to Mr. McFarland and Mr. Brooks and Ms. Underwood?
No, not yet.
Okay. As it relates to the parents, at the last hearing, the court changed the goal to a dual goal of reunification and adoption. At this time, how would you describe the parents' progress towards reunification?
I would say that they are partially participating in services. Both of them during this report period have changed therapists due to being dropped by their previous therapist that they had. They have not completed the SUD evaluation yet, although it is my understanding that it's scheduled, but there was no release time, so I'm just going off of what parents had stated to me. And they have been participating in the Orchards program since they were referred for a second time.
Okay. In the Orchards report, there's an indication that the parents reported to that worker. I don't feel like they're being listened to in various areas of the case. Were you able to address that with the parents during this review period?
I didn't address that specifically, but we have had family team meetings scheduled with them every other week with myself, the parents, and Miss Moore.
Okay. And during those family team meetings, your report indicates that they're used to, I think, track the progress of the case service plan for both the parents and their compliance with that. Are you able to utilize those family team meetings and achieve those goals with the parents?
We have been able to utilize those meetings. On a couple of the meetings, Mr. Hollis has become argumentative about things that we've previously talked about. And there was one meeting that they didn't show for, but other than that, yes.
Do you have any concerns about the family continuing to work with Miss Moore?
Mr. Hollis has stated that he refuses to work with her, refuses to go to her office. We've held the meetings over Zoom because of that, but unless Mr. Hollis has asked something directly, he does not answer usually.
I didn't hear the last part.
That unless Mr. Hollis has asked something directly, he doesn't usually answer any questions.
And during these meetings, has Miss Moore indicated what she would expect to see from the parents in order to recommend parenting time be reinstated?
Yes, she has, and I complete the FTM form each time and send it to all parties also, just so that we're all on the same page.
Okay. And what is, I believe this is in your report, but can you just highlight and articulate for the record what exactly is not being done by the parents that Miss Moore is still recommending parenting time remain suspended?
They have not completed any drug screens. They did complete one today at 2:30 before coming to the courthouse, but they were hoping that after taking the one drug test that they would be able to get a visit today, but I explained to them that we don't get the results right away and it's something that they need to be continuously working on, not just do one time.
And is drug screening the only thing that they're not doing?
They have not done the SUD evaluation yet. They have, like I said, they have participated with their therapist. Mr. Hollis has attended all of his therapy appointments, but his counselor still chose to drop him in February. And Miss Hollis was dropped because of so many no-shows that she had.
And is it Miss Moore's recommendation that the parents demonstrate stable compliance with their case service plan before she's willing to recommend parenting time?
Yes.
To the best of your knowledge, has there been any impact on the child since the parenting time has been suspended?
The impact that I've seen during home visits and have also heard from the caregivers is that she is doing very well. They have her on a routine in the home and she's going to school, as Miss Underwood mentioned, and she's just thriving in the placement. She's does well with the household members. She's bonded to the caregivers, and a lot of the behaviors that she was showing during parenting times, like the waking up having nightmares, hitting people, trying to kick people, things like that, have all disappeared.
Is there anything, I know that one of the concerns in the report, the reason this case came under the court's jurisdiction, also related to domestic violence. Has there been any progress on that issue?
No, they both continue to state that there was no domestic violence and minimize what has previously been reported in court. So no, they have not participated in any services regarding that.
And have referrals been made?
Yes, I did give Mr. Hollis the information for the DVAP program. through John Bailey.
And what about for Miss Hollis?
I know the orchards worker, is touching on that subject, and they're supposed to be working on that through their therapy sessions also.
Do you mean in their individual therapy with their respective therapists?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have releases with their individual therapist?
I do, yes.
Okay. And have you been able to provide their therapist with like their psychologicals or any court orders or like the case service plan?
I did send them to Erica's new therapist. I sent them over to Mr. Hollis's therapist, but she is on vacation this week, is what my understanding is.
Okay. And at this time, do you believe that there's been sufficient progress to continue towards the goal of reunification in any form?
I don't know.
Okay. The current caregivers for the child, are they willing to provide permanency through adoption?
Yes.
Okay. And I know that there had been some issues in the beginning of this case with harassing behaviors towards the relative caregivers. Has that continued or has that subsided? Is there any update on that?
I do know that a acquaintance of Mr. Hollis showed up at their home one day. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the parents or not, but the family is worried about that and they're getting a security system because of that.
All right. And can you just briefly summarize the risk of harm to the child if the court were to return the child to the parents' care and custody today?
Yes, I believe that she would be at risk for witnessing domestic violence in the home. Also the substance abuse, since they have not completed anything in that area. I'm not sure if they are using substances or if this is a struggle of theirs. Also the mental health concerns continues as they've not been stable in therapy with the same therapist throughout the case, and also just the overall stability for the parents.
And have you noticed any benefit from services? Like, are they engaging better with you?
No.
How are their interactions with you?
I would say that Mr. Hollis continues to be very argumentative. He doesn't let myself talk usually or Miss Moore, especially if there's something that he does not agree with. And more recently, we have noticed that Miss Hollis has also been more argumentative when talking with workers.
Thank you. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Garza. I would move to admit the court report with the attachments. With the understanding that there are signed case service plans in the courtroom, I believe we would just need someone to hand them to the court.
Are they any different than the ones that are unsigned?
They're not different. The only difference is that they sign them.
Okay. All right, objections, counselors?
Objection, and my client acknowledged that she has signed a case service plan.
No objection.
Objection. Thank you. They are received, and we'll look for those signed case service plans to replace the ones I have. That's all. Questions, Mr. McFarland?
You testify there's no evidence of refraining from drug use, correct?
Yes.
Well, of course, they've been to therapists, they've been to various other meetings. I don't see a single commentary in your report where anybody's reported or suspected them of using drugs, correct?
That's not something that the therapist touches on with them.
Well, if the therapist thought that they were high, they would put that in a report, correct?
I'm not a therapist, I'm not sure, but I would hope so, yes.
Okay. So nobody's reported to you that they've been high or under the influence of drugs, correct?
No.
You don't have any police reports in the last reporting period where police have been out to their house for incidents or reports of domestic violence, correct?
Correct.
Nobody has reported to you that they have seen them in a domestic violence situation, correct?
Not in the domestic violence situation, but Ms. Hollis has told me that one of the barriers of her getting to the office to drug screen and things like that is that he will not allow her to use the truck.
That's not domestic violence, right?
It's a controlling situation, yes, I believe.
Maybe she's a bad driver. That could also be another reason, right? Let me rephrase. Have you asked her specifically why she's not being able to use the truck?
She has stated that he will not allow her to.
Did you ask Mr. Hollis why he does not want her to?
No.
Okay, so you're speculating, right? Sure. If the drug test comes back negative that they took today, what are your thoughts then about some type of supervised visit?
So I know that Ms. Moore has the discretion currently, and she has stated that she wants to see them participating in services, and not just more than one time, but continuously.
Where should my client be focusing the majority of her efforts on the case service plan, in your opinion?
I would say continuing taking medication and doing her medication reviews and continuing or participating in therapy consistently.
My understanding, she's not met with her new therapist, but when she does, do you wish for her to sign a release?
She has met with her and she's already signed a release. I've already spoken to her.
Okay. No further questions.
Mr. Brooks?
I've been in this case since the beginning, very first hearing. I have heard allegations against my client that he may be a drug user. I've seen no evidence of it. None. He took a test today. When will that be available?
We usually don't get them for a couple days, so probably the middle of next week or end of next week.
Are you expecting this court to take, based on no evidence, that he's a potential drug user?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
I can't hear you.
Can you repeat that?
Are you asking this court to take it as evidence that my client is a drug user without having submitted any evidence of any kind that he is?
That was one of the reasons that the child came into care, and he hasn't screened to show that he's sober either.
Wait a minute. Sober alcohol or sober street drugs?
Of anything.
Pardon me?
Of anything.
Do you have evidence of any of that?
Just from the removal petition.
Which has yet to be proven he was or is a substance abuser of any kind. Isn't that right?
That's why we asked for him to take do an evaluation.
I'm very aware of that policy. I want to know if you have positive proof you can lay on that judge's desk and see.
I'm gonna object as the parties have agreed to take drug screens as a part of their case services plan. And part of the report indicates that non-testing shall be considered a positive drug screen.
Yeah, as I recall it, Mr. Brooks, the concern for your client was the prior drunk driving and concern that use of alcohol could result in domestic violence within the relationship. And concern for Ms. Walker was that some of the behavior that she's exhibited, which is indicated to be as a result of mental health, could have also been complicated potentially by substances, including but not limited to alcohol. So that was the reason for the request that they both submit to an evaluation.
All right.
Is that your impression?
Yes.
Good, that's the impression I intended to convey.
Yes.
Thank you.
Who is the unnamed acquaintance of my client? that allegedly went over to the foster family's home?
I don't know the name, but the family stated that they do know that he is an acquaintance of Harold, and they have him on video.
Somebody who's not here today knows that guy knows this guy.
Yes, because he gave them their address.
That is not evidence. Shh, be quiet. So we have no evidence that my client had any connection at all to do with A, the decision, or B, the action of harassing those foster parents, nor do we know specifically what the harassment was. Do you contest what I just said?
They do have on video what he stated,
Who has?
the caregivers.
You don't have.
I don't.
Mr. Hollis, apparently, according to your testimony, attended all of his therapy sessions with the, what is that therapist's name who you say is dismissed?
Kim Yoder is the one that
Kim
dropped him.
Yoder.
Yes,
And yet she's telling you she has dropped him?
that's correct. I did email with her today to try to get more explanation because Mr. Hollis stated he wasn't aware why he was dropped either.
Was he threatening her? Was he argumentative with her? Was he refusing to attend the meetings? What?
She stated that she felt he needed anger management and was not willing to work towards the goal of getting his child back or visits back. So she tried to refer him to someone more experienced, but he refused.
Like who?
I'm assuming the one that he's working with now.
When's the last time Mrs. Hollis filed a complaint for domestic violence?
I don't know the last time she filed one, but she's spoken with me about how she's wanted to move out because of how he was acting towards her and she doesn't want to work with him and things like that, and then turns around and says that they're back together and working together.
I'm going to object because I don't believe that's in this reporting period. I believe that was in the last report.
Would you clarify? Was
Yes,
that recently?
That was the last reporting period.
Okay, thank you.
Whose truck is that the family is using for transportation?
Ms. Hollis stated that it's Mr. Hollis's truck.
What specific harm would be done to this child if these people were allowed supervised visitation?
Just the parenting skills that we've talked about in previous court hearings. And again, we're not sure if they're abusing substances at this time. They need to continue to work towards or participate in their services.
I have nothing further.
Questions, Ms. Underwood?
Approximately how many drug screens have you offered the Hollises in the last reporting period?
It's been once a week that I've offered.
So several.
Yes,
And until today, how many had they attended, or how many had they actually submitted to?
none.
Do the Hollises seem to be benefiting from any of the services that they're engaging in?
I don't believe so because it's the same arguments that they're trying to have with workers and service providers if they're not being told what they want to hear.
What are the arguments that they're making that impede their progress?
They're continuing to state that they should be able to tell the child that that the caregivers are not her mom and dad because they've heard her say mom before referring to the caregiver. They argue that they feel they are doing everything and all of their services and feel like they should be getting a visit instead of focusing on actually participating in their services consistently.
Have the Hollises taken any accountability for why their child is in foster care right now?
No.
Thank you, no further questions.
All right, any redirect, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. McFarland, any more questions?
Brief recross, as far as domestic violence, you don't suspect that the parents might engage in domestic violence with each other if they were to have parenting time, do you?
During parenting time?
Right.
Is that what you're asking? Ms. Moore has stated that she feels that Mr. Hollis is very controlling during parenting time visits that have been supervised.
So that could be resolved for my client for her having individual visits, couldn't it?
Well, and part of the reason that her visits were suspended also was because she does not engage well with the child during visits.
My question was domestic violence, wasn't it? Not engagement. I'd ask that be struck, Your Honor, as not directly answering my question about domestic violence.
Response, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I mean, I think my main argument is rules of evidence don't apply at these proceedings. Why they're pretty lax and we allow a lot of testimony to go and a lot of poor-formed questions to be asked. So I think that it's a relevant answer to the issue of continuing to suspend parenting time. And I also think the court's very aware of the concerns that were brought to its attention by Ms. Moore.
Would you like to weigh in, Ms. Underwood?
Your Honor, the follow-up question that Mr. McFarland said was, could she just have individual visits? So I believe that Ms. Della Garza's answer was based off of this very general question.
I would tend to agree. So I'm going to overrule the request to strike that testimony, Mr.
Thank you. As far as supervised visits, if a parent appears under the influence of drugs, it's your policy that they're not to have visits, correct?
Correct.
There'd be no harm with controlled substances at visits if they're not able to have a visit if they appear under the effect of what you might think might be drugs, correct?
That's not the only concern, but yes, correct.
Nothing further.
Mr. Brooks, any other recross?
No,
Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. May I return to your seat? If you could locate those signed case services plans, I'd like to get those swapped. Deputy Ames, if you could please, Ms. Della Garza is going to hand over some signed exhibits in exchange for our unsigned. Thank you.
thank you.
Sure.
I acknowledge I've received a copy of signed.
So have I.
Gentlemen, Ms. Underwood, any objection?
No objection.
Well, they are received, they are signed. All right. Any other witnesses, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
Wishes to testify today. My client wishes to testify.
Well, Ms. Erica Hollis, is that right?
Yeah.
All right, come on up. Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Let's address a couple questions. First of all, why is the reason that you agreed to do drug testing today?
Well, because for one, I just decided, let's just do it. Trying to get our kid back, trying to get a visit, trying to get something.
What about future drug testing? Are you okay with that?
Yep.
Domestic violence. Have there been any domestic incidents between you and Mr. Hollis since we last met here in court?
Nope.
Kind of harmony on the marital front? Is that what we're hearing?
Yeah. Yes.
Have you read your case service plan?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any questions regarding what you're supposed to do?
No, I know what I'm supposed to do, and there's just one slight issue on the whole service plan thing.
What is that?
I didn't get dropped for no-shows from counseling.
Okay.
I did call both days, and they said my therapist was out sick. And then both days she was out sick, and then I got an email from my therapist stating that she was dropping me because I did no call, no shows. Now, to me, that's calling. I called both days.
You called both days and your testimony is that your therapist was sick?
That's what they told me on the phone, that she was sick both days.
But you have a replacement therapist, is that my understanding?
Yeah, I got a different therapist at a different place because I was done with that.
Who's that therapist?
Her name is Mariana at River Oaks.
And you've not met with her before, if I recall.
I met with her twice so far. Well, today was the third time.
Did your personality seem to click pretty good?
Yeah.
You want to express your feelings today, your thoughts about parenting time, correct?
Yes.
What are your feelings?
My feelings is, we've been going to counseling. I've been taking my meds every day. Yeah, we did a drug test today. I see us going forward, not backwards.
You get your prescription for your meds.
I get it through ACPC still.
Okay. You've been regularly meeting with a therapist through ACPC?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Robert Shaw.
You think the medicines are helping you out?
Yes, but I am in the process of changing doctors. Because I want to get out of ACPC altogether because they dropped me as a patient for no reason. So I just don't even want to fool with them. So I'm getting a different doctor. So that will be changed.
You know that the goal request from the agency is to change this to adoption, which means a termination trial of your parental rights. You understand what they're asking for.
Yes, I do, and that's not going to happen. Because I don't see how they can change it to that when we are trying. I see us trying.
Okay.
I mean, I think we've done more now than we did the last report.
Is there any way that we can perhaps assist you to be more compliant in their eyes?
I mean, I'm trying the best I can, you know, I mean, I get dropped for no reason, so then I gotta start over, I feel like, you know?
Well, the workers made an issue that you don't have access to a pickup truck. I don't know anything about that. Is there anything you want to share with us on that?
Well, the last truck got wrecked, so no, we don't have Harold's vehicle anymore. We are using his friend's vehicle at the time. We're getting around to.
Do they not trust your driving skills?
Well, he's not my friend, but that's Harold gets permission to drive the truck.
Okay, so you don't have permission to drive the truck. Is that what we're hearing?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other way that we can assist? Do you need to?
I'm working on
hang on.
that vehicle. I'm
Do you-
working on
Do
it.
you need Lenawee transportation vouchers so you can go to things?
See, that's the thing. I know Dollar Ride does not come up to my house because I've already asked.
Well, Dollar Aid may not, but how about Lenawee County Transportation? Have you checked with them?
I just didn't call anybody else because I figured I live out in the country, so I'm figuring the Dollar Ride don't come out there. I'm sure nobody else is gonna come out there. Unless I got buku money, you know, to spend on a taxi cab, then I might be able, I mean, it's $33 to get with Jeff Rides, you know, $33 just to get from Sutton Road to Adrian. I mean, that's a lot of money, just one way.
Would you attempt to call Lenawee Transportation, then get vouchers if they would indeed come out?
Well, if I could,
Okay, you have a telephone.
yeah.
Okay. Any other way that you think we can help you?
No, that's about it.
Anything else you don't understand?
No,
We're gonna leave this for other attorneys to ask you questions if they want to then, okay? Okay,
yeah.
Questions, Ms. Devitt?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks?
I have one, but I don't think I'm gonna ask. Thank you.
Why did you wait until today to take your first drug test?
Like I said, I just wanna try to get my kid back. I'm trying to work towards it. I'm trying to do it, but then I feel like I'm getting told that we're not doing it, but we are. We're trying to go forward here.
But why have you not taken any before today, is my question.
Because honestly, I don't trust any of them. I mean, they're already lying about me getting dropped as a patient from my counselor. That's not why I got dropped. That's not what happened. At least, you know, what they could have done was, hey, we got told Erica did no call, no shows. But really, what happened is what Erica called, right? But it doesn't say that in there, does it? And that is the truth.
No further questions.
All right, any redirect, Mr. McFarland?
I do not.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat.
No further witnesses.
Mr. Brooks?
Harold Hollis. You don't wanna go up? You sure? Harold, we're gonna talk a little bit here, okay? You know I've been doing this longer than you've been alive, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
I am aware that you have anger issues, and you have awareness that
Yeah.
you have anger issues, right?
Yes.
So let me ask you a simple question. In your whole life, have there ever been things that didn't tick you off,
Yeah.
but not lately?
No.
And so you continue to oppose and to argue and to fight, right?
With who?
The department.
I'm trying not to do. I try not to say anything unless they ask me, and that's what I've been doing. If they ask me something, I say something.
Don't you recognize that that in itself is a form of opposition and arguing?
No. No.
Well, it is. You may not be aware of this, so I want you to hear it plain blankety blank English. All this department has to prove to the court at this point is that you will not cooperate with them and thus do not benefit from the services they seek to provide you. You can be the best damn little parent in the world. But if they say, he just won't go ahead and work with us, which you won't, you realize that's all they need to terminate your parental rights. That's not this judge's decision. It's not mine. It's not the prosecutor's. It's the law. I've never told you this before, but I'm telling you now. Keep doing what you're doing and you're gonna lose your child.
What am I doing? I mean, I do what I'm going to therapy. I'm doing.
Listen to me. You're going to therapy and you're telling them they're full of BS.
No, that's not. I've never told that counselor anything. I've talked to. No, that's not the truth.
So you're being fully cooperative and open with this counselor.
Yeah, with the other one too. And all of a sudden, after they talked to her or whoever she talked to somebody. And then the next time I came, she said, "Well, I can't help you no more." After they talked to them people from here. Yeah. Whoever she talked to.
Harold, can you be more cooperative?
I thought I was being cooperative.
You're not. Can you be more cooperative?
I think I'm more cooperative.
Quit taking them on.
I'm not taking anybody on. I ain't taking not a soul on.
What do you call not taking a drug test?
Because if my word ain't good enough, I don't trust her or them, first of all. I don't trust even taking it today with them. I wanted to do it here at the courthouse.
There have been thousands of people have gone through this court system, with me present, who have taken those drug tests. I want you to take those drug tests. Will you do it?
I just did one today.
Yeah, and you missed how many before?
Actually, they never asked me. They left it on Eric's phone about me. They never asked me perk to do it. But anyway, yeah, problem. I'll do it.
There should be no problem.
I'd like to
about the
hire
things
somebody
that
of my own to do it.
Sir, do you, that's not gonna be the same.
Okay.
Do you understand you're on the edge of the cliff? One more step in the direction you're going in, and your child's gonna have a different last name. Are you aware of that?
Yeah,
And your wife can say, well, that's not gonna happen. Nobody's gonna ask your opinion or hers. Nobody.
they already got their mind made up anyway, so.
So change it.
You know what, I don't know
Sir,
what you want me
I
to do.
change people's minds for a living.
Kiss their ass, I guess, right? Okay, I'll do whatever you say.
You want your daughter back.
Yeah, I want her back.
What does it cost you to cooperate with them instead of being objective or,
I ain't been objective to them people.
yes, you have.
No, I haven't. But either way, if you say so, I'll do whatever you say.
You want your daughter back?
Yeah, I want her back.
Do what I tell you. Do what I tell you. Is there anything else you want to say?
No, I didn't want to say nothing. I don't want to say, no, I'm good.
All right,
Any other questions, Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
No, thank you.
Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Hollis. You may return to your seat. Anyone else you want us to hear from?
no,
Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor.
Comments in closing, beginning with Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. I was reviewing my notes from our January hearing, and it really seems that there hasn't been progress in the last 2 months. And for those reasons, Your Honor, I believe the court is just very aware of the issues and concerns that brought the child into care. His child was removed back in June, and we still haven't been able to progress towards, well, at this point, to look at reinstating parenting time, let alone progressing towards expanding parenting time and unsupervised parenting time, and knowing that the child would be safe in their care. So for those reasons, Your Honor, we are asking the court to consider the singular goal of adoption, and expecting and anticipating a termination petition from the agency, and set it for a 90-day review. Of course, efforts will continue to be made towards reunification, as always, but I really think the focus should shift towards what this kiddo needs. She's clearly thriving with the stability that's being offered in her placement family, in the routine, being around her foster siblings, and having a normal family life. It's really unfortunate that we haven't seen a change in taking accountability for why this child's in care, and in 9 months that hasn't happened, and still really deflecting and being distant and hostile towards our caseworkers and providers. It just seems like it's everyone else's fault other than the parents. So, Your Honor, for those reasons, we are asking the court to change the goal, to order the termination petition to be filed, and to have a 90-day review. Thank you.
Comments, Mr. McFarland?
Oh, Your Honor, my client not being able to borrow a friend's truck, I don't really think rises to domestic violence, domestic confrontation, anything of that nature, Your Honor. No police reports, no arrest. Seems as though that's more speculation than anything else. And I probably had good speculation at that. As far as drugs, well, visits would not have occurred if they were under the influence of drugs. If they're supervised visits, they could easily be cut off if they were suspected under the influence of drugs. Client has signed releases, or if not, she will, my understanding, with this new therapist. She wants to move forward. she has been confrontational in the court before, but I can't remember the last couple of hearings ever being that way. I think she's acquiesced to, at least on the drug issue. She's given a sample. She'll continue to do that down the road. My client would like to see, most importantly, for the court to consider keeping the goal for another review period, or a dual goal, Your Honor, and not converting it to a adoption, which is effectively a termination of parental rights. Regardless of how we call it, that's what it amounts to when that happens. So, and she does not wish for that to happen. Thank you.
Comments, Mr. Brooks?
I think it was the department's attorney who said this case is 9 months old. In the general scheme of things, it's not very long. I don't think the court will argue with me for 1 second when I say that Harold's not easy to represent. Harold now has been told on the record by his own lawyer, he is 1 step away from having his child taken away from him forever. And he is. You know it. I know it. He's been told that. I want you to give him more time than 9 months to change the way he deals with confrontation, which is to dig his heels in and fight against all logic. Because there's no logic in arguing this point when the cost is he's going to lose his child. There's none. Take the drug tests, listen to what the therapists have to say, talk to them, not just sit there and don't clam up. That's the hurdle we have to get past. Not drugs, not domestic violence, none of that stuff. Harold's refusal to listen to somebody and follow instructions he doesn't want to follow. He can continue to do that if that's what he wants to do. Nobody can stop him. But he can't kid himself anymore. And if that's what he wants to do, he might as well quit this court case now and put himself out of his misery. 9 months is too quick. Thank you.
Ms. Underwood?
Your Honor, I don't think anybody up here likes to sit here and recommend a goal change of adoption when the department's trying to make efforts to reunify a child with their family. However, this child deserves stability, permanency, and consistency. While we wait for the Hollises to get over this hurdle that Mr. Brooks indicates there is, we have a child who has spent nearly 2 years of her life out of their care. And in that time, she has been able to get a vision exam and get glasses, go to school with her peers, be in a loving and functioning household free from domestic violence. There's been nothing but blaming everyone else for their issues and their shortcomings. The parents have made probably the least amount of progress that I've seen on a case in 9 months. And that's not due to the lack of attempts and reasonable efforts, actually active efforts, in my opinion, of the department and the workers that have been put in place to try very hard to help this family. The bottom line is the parents have been given the opportunity to take accountability and to make progress for parenting time and reunification over the last 2 months, and they've really done very little. Showing up for 1 drug screen on the day of a court hearing is not enough to consider any progress at all, in my opinion. I would ask that the court adopt the goal change, or change the goal to adoption at this time. I believe it's in the child's best interest. And I would agree that there's been little to no progress that would afford the parents any parenting time at this time.
Thank you. The court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's review and permanency planning hearing. The goal was changed to a dual goal of adoption and reunification at the last review hearing. in December. Today, we heard about the parents' attempts to engage with services. Mom has taken some extension education through MSU. Father, Mr. Hollis, has tried to begin engaging in counseling. I think that while Mr. Hollis stayed for the hearing so far today, that's also progress as far as I'm concerned. And I have to say, I think it did justice to his client that Mr. Brooks really took the time to speak very frankly with Mr. Hollis on the stand, and that Mr. Hollis did his best to try to understand what he was being told. There's no question that any progress whatsoever in this case would take a very significant amount of time, and the modicum of effort that we've seen this report period is only due in part to the overwhelming, frankly, and very gracious efforts of Ms. De La Garza, Ms. Brene Moore, and the other service providers that are tasked with trying to help these parents get out of their own way, to be perfectly frank. So there's no question that we have reasonable efforts, and I would agree even with Ms. Underwood on this point, that we have very active efforts. We have Ms. Moore, Ms. De La Garza meeting regularly, trying to engage with these parents, trying to get them to understand what the challenges are in returning their child to their care. There's no question that both of these parents care very much about this child. But the lack of understanding as far as what the challenges are that remain in the way of reunification is very, very much apparent, as reflected in the court report and the testimony of Ms. De La Garza, and in the parents' testimony in and of itself. Ms. Underwood is not wrong. When we heard both parents continue to deflect responsibility for some of the challenges that resulted in their child being removed from their care, and the challenges that she faces. She had developmental delays, she needed glasses, she needed analysis for special needs. She now has an IEP for speech and language. She's begun preschool and is making strides in some of those areas that she was previously prohibited from making strides in because her parents, frankly, had her in a household that did have abuse and neglect dynamics associated with it. Her behaviors demonstrated that at the time of her removal. She demonstrated behaviors consistent with food insecurity, hoarding food and stuffing herself during meals. She demonstrated fear of men and conflict, some traumatized behaviors. She has been removed from the care of her parents since June 22nd of 2024 and is making strides in those areas. Ms. Walker did have a brief hospitalization at the end of December and was poised to re-engage in psychiatric care. I'm going to ask Ms. De La Garza in the next report period to really do her best to secure the analysis that was performed both during that hospitalization as well as through ACPC care. And that's going to depend a lot on Ms. Walker cooperating to get those records around. At this point, I still don't have an official diagnosis for Ms. Walker, what her goals are in therapy, what progress she's made. And that's just as much, if not more, on you, Ms. Walker, as it is on Ms. De La Garza, because Ms. De La Garza is here to report on the progress. And it's not on Ms. De La Garza to go to your house, to pick you up, to get you to sign these. No, all of these things are set up for you to demonstrate that you are able to become a healthy person so that you can become a healthy parent. It's not on Ms. De La Garza to make you into a healthy parent. It's on the two of you to show us that you can do it, to avoid things that were in place when your child was removed from your care. That's it. That's the long and the short of it. Mr. Brooks is right. This, and Ms. Underwood is right. This is a case where we've had very little progress in the 9 months, almost 9 months that your child has been removed from your care. The next 3 months will be imperative for you to show us that you're serious about trying to understand what the barriers are in making progress. I'm going to leave the goal as a dual goal of adoption or reunification. But I can promise you this, at the next hearing, if there's no progress made, It's gonna be adoption, and there's gonna be an order for the department to file a termination petition within 28 days of that review hearing. So that's the bottom line. And I wish you the best of luck in overcoming some of these barriers that have been overwhelmingly identified to engage in these services and to do what Mr. Brooks tells you to do, Mr. Hollis, if you so choose to accept that challenge. In the meantime, the child will remain in her placement that is the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances. Thank you, Ms. De La Garza, for your efforts. I know this is an especially challenging case, and I want to take a moment to say that I appreciate you, and Ms. Brene Moore, and please express my appreciation to her as well. I know this is a challenge. All right, so the next review hearing. Let's go to June 2nd at 1:30 p.m. Review hearing and permanency planning hearing as promised. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. You're welcome to wait in the hallway on record and online today for a review hearing. It's our fourth regular review permanency planning hearing. There's been a show cause scheduled as it relates to mother and father on key services plans, as well as a termination trial for a petition for termination of parental rights. It was filed. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Nicole Underwood, lawyer, guardian ad litem for the minor child.
Ms. Sasha Thomas, counsel for the department.
Brandy De La Garza, the foster care worker.
Michael Brooks, I represent the father, Harold Hollis.
Harold Hollis, yep.
Michael McFarland representing mother.
Harold Hollis.
Thank you. All right. As it relates to the show cause, Ms. Thomas, typically I consolidate the request for termination with review. How would you like me to approach the show cause if you have any preference?
Your Honor, as this court is well aware, it's not typically my practice to file show causes. However, in some circumstances, we have been doing that in the event that we don't have a termination, or we really are asking and trying to encourage the parents to comply with their case service plan. However, because today we are also going to have the termination hearing, I believe that the court can make findings relative to the show cause, the review, and the termination with all of the same evidence that will be put into record today.
Any objection, Mr. Brooks?
No.
I would agree.
No, please, Ms. Underwood.
No objection.
Very good. I will agree then to consolidate all of the hearings together, as the proofs are otherwise probably going to be cumulative and repetitive. All right. I look forward to your report, Ms. Underwood, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. I was able to go meet with a minor child in person while she was at her school recently. It was nice. The kids were playing outside as it was a nice day, so I was able to see her playing with friends, interacting with peers, and doing the typical things that a 3-year-old would do when playing out on the playground. She showed me around to the different things that she likes to do. She showed me the garden that she gets to participate in cultivating and growing, and talked to me about how she gets excited when they get to pick tomatoes. She is really making progress in her speech and in her overall abilities and what she's able to do. As the court's aware, she was behind in certain areas when taken into care. However, with the schooling that she's had and the IEP put in place, she's really done or has been able to really progress and grow. The placement that she's currently with, the family placement, continues to meet her needs and take care of everything that she needs, as well as her medical needs. And I would ask the court to continue that placement pending further order of the court. She's too young to express a preference as well, Judge, as she's only 3.
Thank you. Testimony or rather opening comments, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I'll waive opening. Thank you.
Any opening comments, Mr. Brooks?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McFarland?
Well, I'm going to make an objection up front. I'll be making it later, but as the court knows, that typical testimony is from the date of the last hearing to the current hearing. As I'm reading the report for today, there are numerous references to 2024, which are well beyond the time scope of what we're dealing with in a review. So I'm going to be asking that any reference to 2024 be stricken as not appropriate to the time frame that we're covering today. Thank you.
Well, Mr. McFarland, I'll trust you to raise that as you feel necessary throughout the proceedings. And I will state for the record that since the proceedings are consolidated around a request for determination that involves the statutory section as it relates to whether or not there's been case services accomplished by the parents, that some review of the record as a whole is generally speaking permitted, relevant, and necessary. But I do appreciate the reminder that we're not going to relitigate the entire case. So with that, your objection is duly noted with those instructions. And I'll look forward to Ms. Thomas's first witness.
Your Honor, I'll call Ms. Hollis first.
Ms. Ellis, come on up to our witness stand.
Thank you. Hey, Ms. Hollis. I might ask you to speak really loud for the sake of the record, okay? So if I have to interrupt you, I'm not trying to be rude, okay? We just need it loud for the record.
Okay.
Have you had the opportunity to review the court report for today's hearing?
A little bit,
Okay, it's pretty long, right?
yeah.
Okay. But mostly, I'm just curious if you were able to look at the report as it relates to your progress in the last review period. So since we were here in June, did you look at that information?
Just a little bit of it.
Okay. During this review period, the report indicates you've participated in bi-weekly family team meetings. Do you agree with that?
Yeah,
Okay. And do you find those family team meetings to be helpful for you?
not really.
What would make them more helpful?
Well, first of all, I think that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, but they're saying that we're not, so I'm just a little confused on what the services are exactly.
And you maintain contact with Ms. Sala, your caseworker, on a regular basis?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as your case service plan, are you currently in therapy? Individual
Yes.
therapy? And who are you working with in therapy?
Her name's Anna at Mindful Hearts.
Okay. And are you attending weekly?
Yes.
And what are some of the goals you're working on in therapy?
Trying to get my kid back, coping skills, depression, anxiety skills.
Okay. And are you receiving any treatment for substance abuse?
Not exactly. I don't think so. I was trying to get a substance abuse counselor, and I'm not sure if that's what she is or not, but she said that she's into substances, so I'm guessing she is.
Okay. At the last hearing on June 2nd, my notes indicate you reported that you would be going to substance abuse treatment that Thursday and that Mr. House would be taking you. Did you ever go to an inpatient treatment?
No, because they were full.
Okay. And had you followed up with community mental health at all?
Yes.
And where do you stand with their services?
Well, they were telling me that pretty much when they're not full, then I could go. And so instead of doing that, I just got a substance abuse counselor and direct what I'm at.
I didn't hear that last.
Instead of going, I got a substance abuse counselor and decided to do it on my own.
Thank you.
Since they were full.
CMH didn't make a referral to Catholic Charities or McCullough Vargas?
I told Tom that I needed a substance abuse counselor and I was having trouble finding one.
Who's Tom?
Tom is a caseworker at community mental health.
Okay, so you told your caseworker at community mental health you needed
Yes,
substance abuse?
I told him that.
Okay, treatment, sorry. Okay, and I'm sorry, I interrupted your testimony. What happened after you told him you were looking for that?
He said that Catholic Charities or whatever, but then I was having trouble still, so that's when I got Anna. I think she's involved with substance abuse. Cause I couldn't wait no more. I waited 2 weeks and I was like, I gotta get in therapy somewhere.
How long have you been working with Anna at Mindful Hearts?
My first appointment was last week.
Okay, and then,
I got one scheduled this week.
okay, and then prior to working with her, who were you working with?
I was working with Mariana at River Oaks.
The report indicates that you had last worked with Mariana on July 1st. Is that accurate?
No, I think it was after that.
Okay. And how would you describe your attendance with Mariana?
Well, good. I was trying, she wanted to do a check-in, she said, because she's not a substance abuse counselor.
Okay.
So she told me that I'd be better off getting a substance abuse counselor. So that's the whole reason I know I have her.
Okay. And historically, you've also engaged in psychiatric care treatment?
Yes.
And is that through CMH as well?
Yes.
And the report indicates you were supposed to have like your monthly review
Yeah.
on July 28th, but you no-showed. Were you able to fix that or make it up or however that works?
No, I made it to that appointment.
Oh, you did?
I did make it to that appointment.
Okay. And are you currently prescribed any medication?
Yes.
And are you taking it regularly?
Yes.
Part of the show cause, did you have an option or an opportunity to read the show cause allegations?
No.
Okay, so that was given to you at the time that the termination petition was given to you? Did you read any of those documents?
I don't recall reading those.
Okay. Most of the allegations really contain in the show cause are related to missed random drug screens or not taking the drug screens. Have you taken them since the last time we've been in court on June 2nd?
No, I don't think I took one, and she hasn't asked for one for the last 3 weeks either.
Okay.
So I just haven't taken one because I was gonna be dirty anyway.
Sorry, your voice is dropping off again. What was the last couple words?
I said I didn't take one because I was dirty anyway.
When is the last time you used?
It's been over a week now.
Okay. And one of the outstanding concerns has been domestic violence in the home. Do you think that domestic violence is an issue in your home with Mr. Hollis?
No.
There is a police report attached, I believe was June of this year.
Yes.
Can you tell us from your perspective what happened?
We got into a verbal altercation and I locked him out of the house and he broke the window to try to get in. And then he disappeared.
Okay. And do you consider that not domestic violence then?
No, because he wasn't hitting me.
So for you, domestic violence is only physical?
Physically, verbally. I mean, he wasn't really saying too much because I locked him out. He disappeared after that. I don't know where he went, but
And you guys are not in couples counseling, correct?
no.
Okay. During your, and again, this is outside of this review period, it's been several months now that you had an incident of a suicide attempt back in December and you got some treatment, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And since then, have you had any more concerns or issues with suicide ideations?
No.
No. Okay. When you are engaged in therapy, I'm sorry, your previous therapist, her name's escaping me, Mariana. What were some of the goals you worked on in therapy with her?
Trying to get Melanie back and not too much goals, really. Just we didn't really talk very long because we were just doing check-ins there. And then that's why I got this new counselor. So now I do in person, which she said would be better than her.
Sorry, I'm just going through the court report, okay? When you say that the goal of working on getting Melanie back, what does that mean to you?
It means to do whatever it takes to get her back, to do the service plan or whatever they want us to do. That's the only way we're gonna get her back.
During your family team meetings with Ms. Sala Garza, have you guys discussed what would be expected to get parenting time back?
Yeah, once.
Okay, and what do you recall from that conversation?
That the service plan we done, that we do what we're supposed to do in the service plan and have 3 random drug screens that were clean.
And have you been able to produce the 3 random drug screens that were clean?
Not yet.
And do you recall any of the recommendations by Ms. Moore about getting parenting time reinstated?
She said the same thing.
And so that's where the guidance came from, as Ms. Moore's report?
Yeah.
Do you feel at this point in time that you are emotionally and psychologically stable?
Yes. A lot better now than before.
And what has helped you become more stable?
Well, counseling helps. It helps us a lot. Medicine. And that helps too. And just normal stuff. Just it's I'm a lot better than I was.
Can you give us some concrete examples or real life examples of how you see yourself better now than you were a year ago?
Well, I'm not sleeping in a vehicle.
Okay.
I'm not running off every 5 minutes.
All right.
Let's see. I'm not attacking Harold. And let's see. I don't know. I mean, I'm a lot calmer now.
If the court does not terminate your parental rights today, would you be in a position to take Melanie today?
Yeah.
And what would her daily life look like at your home?
She would have a routine. She'd have a bedtime schedule. She would she'd go to school, make her doctor's appointments, everything else, whatever it all involves.
The report indicates that Melanie, the child has some breathing issues or lung issues. Are you aware of those?
No, I never got told about it.
Do you get any information about her medical status?
No,
So like monthly, you're not getting any updates about that?
no, I haven't got nothing. Which, yeah, I did read somewhere that she was doing an inhaler, and that's all I got. I read it in the paper somewhere about it, and I'm kind of upset that I didn't get told about it.
Okay.
Because I would like to know about it.
The report indicates that there's been some progress made on the child's room at your home,
Yeah,
and now there was a bed frame down.
yeah, we're putting together, we're finishing it to put a new mattress. We're getting a new mattress here in the next day or so for it.
Do you and Mr. Howell smoke in your home?
We do, but we're gonna be smoking outside if Melanie gets to come home. We'll be smoking outside. Especially if she's got breathing issues.
Do you recall the last time that you got to see your daughter?
January.
So it's been almost 9 months.
It's been a long time.
If the court does not terminate your parental rights today, how would you, what steps would you take to be able to see her again?
I still remain sober and go into counseling and what the service plan is.
I know that you stated CMH said there were no, there's a waiting list for substance abuse treatment.
Yeah, they were working on it still. They're still working on it as far as I know.
Okay.
But I couldn't wait no more. That's why I just got into his counselor.
Okay.
So I was getting in, so I at least had somewhere to go.
And during this case, have you like participated in any NA meetings or anything like that, whether online or in person?
No. No, but that's a good idea. Okay.
And have you asked Ms. Salgarza for assistance in seeing if there were any inpatient substance abuse treatment programs that would be available to you?
I told her I was having trouble finding a substance abuse counselor. And that's when she recommended,
Okay. And you've signed a release for Anna to speak with Ms.
Yep.
Salgarza?
yes.
Wonderful. One of the things that the court has to consider in its decision today is your child's best interests. Can you articulate, in your opinion, why it would be in your child's best interest for your parental rights to not be terminated?
Cause we didn't hurt her. She was going to her doctor's appointments. She went to school. We were trying to do what we were supposed to do. You know, and she was. So I'm just so confused about this whole mess. On what's going on. And we didn't do anything wrong. I mean, yeah, okay, I have a substance problem, but it's not like I can't fix it. And that's what I'm trying to do.
Your child is with a relative currently, correct?
Yeah,
And based on that, how would you describe your relationship with that relative?
I don't trust him.
And so with that relative placement, you haven't been able to like participate in family events or anything that would let you see your child more?
No, I told her we can't be anywhere near her because we got our visitations suspended. So we can't go to doctor's appointments, we can't do, because we were going to the doctor's appointments before we got suspended.
And do you have communication with that relative caregiver at all?
No.
Is there anything else you would like the court to know for purposes of today's hearing?
That I would at least like to get my visits back. I mean, that would be nice. I miss my kid. I miss her badly. And yeah, I'm gonna cry because I miss her. And it's been a long time, you know? I don't know if anybody understands that. But I miss her badly. I would like to see her. At least. If I can't have her back, then at least give me my visitation back. That's how I feel.
Okay. I have no further questions, Jenna. Thank you.
Mr. Brooks, any questions?
No.
Mr. McFarland?
I do. Would you be testing positive for marijuana? Is that what you'd be testing positive for?
I've been touched about it. Well, I don't know. It's been a while. Probably still. I mean, if it stays in your system longer than a week, then probably.
Okay, so that's the only thing that you're using right now?
That I'm not even doing that right now.
Okay, because the reason I'm asking is, I think you, when answering the attorney for the agency, you indicate that you would test positive. That's why I'm wondering, did you mean you test positive for marijuana?
Well, when she was asking for drug screens, I knew I was still dirty for both. And then I quit both of them. So.
Okay. And what's the other, marijuana and?
Meth.
Okay, and when did you quit meth?
It's been over a week now that I haven't done it.
Okay. And have you been talking to your counselor about your meth usage?
Yes.
And what are some, do you think is that helping you as far as you quit?
It is helping.
Can you tell us how that's helping?
It's helped me. One thing that's keeping me away from it is that I look at my daughter, a picture of my daughter, and that makes me not want to smoke. That makes me stay away from it. I don't want it no more. I want my kid. And talking to Anna, it's like she understands. And she actually coaches me, you know, she helps me open up more to her.
Would it be fair to say you have a good relationship with her?
Yeah.
Fair to say this is probably the first person you've had actually a good relationship in this case. Would that be accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. I know you'd probably agree that in the past you've been kind of difficult to get along with sometimes, right? I mean, we've seen it in court, right?
Yeah.
You indicate that your medication has helped you out, right?
Yeah.
So what if we were to take a day in the life of yourself, how would we see if the medication is helping? We're trying to paint a picture for the court here.
And it's a big turnout because I'm a lot more calmer. And I don't let things get to me as easily.
Apparently Harold still gets you occasionally, right?
Oh, of course,
Okay.
sometimes.
Have you talked to Anna about you and Harold, how you can have a more harmonious relationship?
Yeah, she told me that I need to start learning how to talk to him instead of yelling at him.
So medication seems to be helping you with that, not yelling.
Well, I yell sometimes, but a lot more, it's a lot more different now.
Are you and Harold able to carry on a conversation?
Yeah,
Okay. Have you talked about what it would look like if your child was returned to you?
yeah.
Okay. What would you guys do for income?
We got income, we're both on disability.
Okay, and how much a month do you bring in, and how much does Mr. Hollis bring in, if you know?
I bring in 967.
Okay, Mr. Hollis,
I'm not sure exactly what he brings.
you combine your monies that come in, or what happens with the monies?
Well, we buy whatever we need or wherever it needs to go to, or we help each other, we do it together.
Is your house paid for?
Yes,
Are you up to date on your taxes?
yes.
If your child was to return to you, what do you have set up in your house for the return? Do you have a crib? Do you have?
She's got her own bed, she's got her own bedroom. We just put new carpet in there for her and got a new bed for her.
I know you've testified that you haven't had personal visits with your child in some time. Do you see any current barriers why you couldn't have visitation right now?
No, not really.
Would you want them by yourself or with Mr. Hollis or a mix?
Mix.
Okay. You think you're ready to start supervised parenting time right now if the court doesn't terminate your rights?
Yeah.
Transportation, are you able to get places?
Yeah. Harold's been a lot more better with that.
What do you understand your mental health issues to be that you're on the medication for?
I'm on it for bipolar.
Well, what does that mean to you, so the court knows?
Well, I can go extremely mad or be extremely happy. It's pretty much mood swings.
Have you been taking prescription medication as directed?
Every day.
And how much is that, do you know?
Well,
One
I
pill or
take-
2 pills or what?
I don't know. I take 6 pills.
Okay. Obviously various medications, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you start that regimen of 6 pills?
Last year when they said I needed to go see a doctor and get on medicine, I did.
Okay.
And I've been taking them every day since.
I know you and I have spoken. We kind of discussed that one of the issues of why they're doing this is the time, right? Because time for a child is different than time for an adult. You would agree with that?
Yeah.
So we're looking at best interest factors. Okay, so there's a series of factors of what it would take for them not to terminate your rights. So at this point in time, your income is fine, it appears. You don't have the expense. How long do you think it would take you to get into some type of drug rehab?
I thought about looking into an outpatient one too. So
Okay.
that way I can be at home and do my home duties and.
So it sounds as though you've explored
I
that,
can-
correct?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what's best.
So which places have you at least explored so the court knows you're working on it?
Well, I was trying to get an inpatient, but since they were full, then Tom's supposed to get back to me on the substance abuse counselors and whatnot. And I'm gonna try that, and then, I told him about the outpatient too. So he's supposed to get back to me on that.
Have you checked around as far as who offers outpatient?
Not yet. I was just waiting for Tom to call me back with that
And
information.
how long have you been waiting for Tom?
Well, so far I've waited 2 weeks on that.
Okay.
I was gonna call him this week.
If he doesn't get back with you, would you be intending on, what would you be doing if he didn't get back with you?
I would call him and see what's going on.
Okay, do you have access to the internet?
Somewhat.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I don't have a computer or nothing, so Sometimes I do.
You have a
Sometimes
smartphone?
I have a, yeah,
Okay,
but my internet sucks on it.
okay. What's holding you back from your own transportation?
I don't have a vehicle.
Okay. You have a valid license though?
I mean, I have a vehicle, it's just being worked on, I should say.
Okay, well, you have a driver's license?
Yeah.
Okay. How old is your child now?
I'm sorry, what's that?
How old's your child?
3.
Okay. The court knows that you have an understanding of child development. What do you believe that 3-year-old would need once your child, if your child were to be returned to you? Yeah. What kind of food? Let's start with food. What does a 3-year-old child need for food?
Wow, healthy snacks. For one, she'll need snacks, like she did before. Well,
What's a healthy snack? Just so the court knows. Everybody has a different idea of healthy.
apple slices or applesauce or stuff like that. I mean, they got them in the kids section.
What about for regular meals? What would she eat? What would the child eat? And we can't use the name, by the way, because we may be on YouTube. I'm not sure.
Well, she eats everything. She likes vegetables. She likes all kinds of vegetables.
Okay.
So she's not a picky eater. She eats everything that we eat. But I always make sure that she's got all food groups.
Okay. Do you have sanitary items, or can you easily get them, such as diapers and wipes and things like that?
Oh yeah, she shouldn't be in diapers right now. We was in the process of potty training her when she left.
Does she have any special needs that you would need to address?
Well, a breathing problem
Right.
that I'm getting told about now.
So what is your understanding that you would have to do for her breathing problems?
Well, to make sure she has her medicine.
Okay.
Make sure she goes to the doctor. For checkups or whatever.
Okay. If we were to resume visits, if the court were to resume visits, do you do drug testing before every visit?
Yeah.
How much time do you think it might take you to get into an outpatient program?
I don't know. I gotta find one that takes my insurance for one.
Okay. What insurance do you have?
Meridian.
You have read your case service plan, correct? And you know what that is.
Yeah.
We sometimes say that's your roadmap, what you have to do
Right.
to reunify and close this case. What do you understand is on that? By the way, I have to reboot my laptop here. That's what I'm doing. It just lost it. So
As far as I know, it's counseling, drug screens, and my mental status. As far as I know. Because we already did the parenting class.
no, that was actually that's on my okay, back to where I'm supposed to be. Can you tell us what you've learned in your parenting classes and how you would apply that so the court knows that you're not just sitting in the back of a classroom and not paying attention?
Oh, I'm paying attention.
That's what I'm asking.
Well, I learned that kids need a routine and that you're not supposed to put kids in the middle. And let's see what else I learned. I mean, I already knew a lot of stuff, but that was a couple things that I did learn.
Okay. Anything else that you've learned?
Let's see. Let them talk about their feelings.
Okay.
I don't know what else. There's a lot of things I already knew, but
Well, what did they discuss that you already knew then?
a lot of things like bedtime stories, and
Tell us a little bit about bedtime. What's appropriate bedtime for 3-year-olds?
well, see, I was doing 8, 9 o'clock. That was my bedtime for ever since she was a baby. She went to bed at 8, 9 o'clock. Now, some nights, yeah, we had family over or whatever. We would get together and it'd be an hour later. She'd go to bed, but that's because she wanted to stay up. But other than that, she went to bed at 8, 9 o'clock every night. I would rock her in the chair and read her a story.
Let me get into because it was asked of you, a little incident where you locked your husband out of the house, okay?
Yeah.
Have you learned anything in counseling about how you two can address avoiding situations like that?
Well, that's why he disappeared.
Oh, explain, because I don't.
He just
So the court-
went for a walk. He went for a walk, he said. And that stopped it. And that's what he's been doing, just walking away. After he broke the window, he walked away, he disappeared.
What was the argument about?
Just random stuff, Melanie, other stuff, just stupid stuff. But at least he walked away, I give him that.
And what do you do as far as he has the plan of walking away? What do you do? And you guys have something like that?
I yell at him through the door.
Well, I'm kind of asking what you do to de-escalate.
But I try not to. I do calm down after a while and I sit down and then I just sit there all calmly.
How do you get into that calm state?
Well, he disappears. That's how it gets me calm.
Have you guys worked that out? Is that your plan?
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah, it is, actually.
Okay. Everybody has their own way of doing things, and if it works.
He knows he has to remove himself from the situation he gets. We don't fight like all the time.
Now, you've indicated a lot of things have changed since the past.
A lot has.
Okay. Is there anything that you haven't described that's changed for the positive that you didn't answer the attorney for the agency?
No, I mean, Harold is a lot more calmer. And I mean, there's other people that are noticing the change in Harold. They said, that's weird, he should have yelled at me. He didn't yell at me. And they were shocked, you know? And that's a good thing. That means that the counseling's helping us.
Okay. What else do you notice that's a positive turnaround in Harold?
He talks more. Then he don't yell as much. He communicates better.
Okay. You do know that it took you a while to into this case before you said that acknowledged that you had an issue with controlled substances, right?
Right.
Is there anything that's not been offered to you that you think we could offer you as far as the case service plan and your path to recovery on controlled substances?
No, I'm working on it. I'm getting there.
Well, the case service plan is what you have to do and what the agency has to do. So I'm asking you maybe more specifically, is there anything that you think the agency could be doing that they're not doing?
No, I mean, just help me find somewhere to go. That would be nice. Somebody would help me.
How do you feel your relationship is with your worker?
It's all right. We get along.
Okay. Fair to say better than other workers in the past?
Well, in the past, well, yeah, I probably yelled a little bit more in the past, but I think we get along pretty good.
Okay. So if the court did not terminate your parental rights today, do you think you would have a ongoing good relationship?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at. I know you've mentioned some of your disabilities. Are there other disabilities that you haven't mentioned to us? Okay, and do you feel that these disabilities are being accommodated? There's something called the American with Disabilities Act, which means are we trying to accommodate to help you with whatever your disability is so you can accomplish your goals?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything that's not being done that you think could be done?
No. I'm the type that likes to do it myself. And I was trying to do it myself, trying to get in somewhere, trying to find a place, and I'm just coming up empty. You know, I just kind of felt like my hands were tied. That's when I reached out to Brandy and said, I'm having trouble finding, you know, a substance abuse counselor. I need some help, you know? Okay. I asked her for that, you know?
You have had a psychological evaluation, you remember that, correct?
Yeah.
Do you think that You've had a chance to read it. I know it's been some time ago, correct?
Yeah,
Do you believe that you're doing what suggested that you do on psychological evaluation?
yeah, all she told me was that I needed to change my meds, they weren't working. So I did.
Are there future plans for you and Harold to remain together?
Yeah,
Okay. I think I've asked you before about Indian blood, correct?
Yeah.
No new Native American, no
No.
other Indian tribes that you can think of, correct? Is there anything else that you want to, just on the show cause? You're saying that you haven't done what you're supposed to do specifically in the case service plan. Do you understand that's what's in the show cause?
okay,
Do you understand that?
yeah, I heard that.
Do you agree that you think to the best of your ability, you've been trying to comply?
I have. I mean, we go to counseling, we try not to miss counseling. I mean, we even got a letter from the counselor stating that we were going and that we're very open to her and that we're cooperative. So, I mean, it's going good there. We did the parenting class. I've been going to my doctor for my mental state of mind. I mean, the only thing we got is the drug test.
You've probably heard of a functional alcoholic, correct? I'm just asking if you've heard of that.
Yeah,
I mean, somebody can be an alcoholic but still manage to function
yes.
pretty well. How would you say you function when you're under the influence of any controlled substances? Like
normal.
Hmm?
I normally function. I'm normal when I'm under it. I feel different without it. I'll tell you that. I don't feel like myself.
when you're not using what, meth, you said?
Yeah, I just feel like lightheaded or like a dizzy kind of, but not really dizzy, but lightheaded. I feel funny.
But do you think
I'm
you're
trying
able-
to get past that.
Okay, but in the past, do you think you've been able to maintain pretty much being a normal person, even using drugs or not?
Yeah.
Now, I may call you later as my witness, but is there anything that you wish to add in response to what was asked by the attorney for the agency?
No.
Okay, we'll see if anybody else has questions for you.
Ms. Underwood, did you have any questions?
Yes, thank you. Ms. Hollis, how do you think that let's just take the example of when the police were contacted in June of 2025. How do you believe that incident would have impacted Melanie if she were there?
If she was there, it wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened like that if she was there.
So you wouldn't have had any arguments if your child had been home?
No.
Okay.
I mean, we probably would have had an argument, but not around her. She would have been in bed or gone or something. We would have had our outing, our little argument. But there's no physical going on, nothing physical going on.
Do you think that yelling in front of the child is traumatic or harmful?
If it happens in front of her, but it didn't before. It never happened in front of her. So I don't see why we would start doing that now.
Okay, but you understand that one of the reasons why your child is in foster care is due to the arguments and the domestic altercations that occurred while she was present.
But she was never present. That's the thing
Okay.
when it happened.
So you're indicating if we were to contact CMH right now that there would be no open beds at any inpatient units for
They
mental
told me that
health?
they were full. When I called up there in Monroe, they said they were full.
When was the last time you called?
It's been 2 weeks since I've done anything because I've been waiting for time
Okay.
to see what's going on.
But from June 3rd till today, August 25th, how many times have you attempted to enter yourself into inpatient substance use treatment?
I didn't even start until August. I think it was the beginning of August.
Okay. But you indicated on the record in June that you were going to be entering an inpatient treatment facility 2 days after that, correct?
Right, but I didn't go. And then when I was ready to go, they were full.
Okay.
Because I had stuff to take care of first.
And what were those things that you needed to take care of?
I had to make sure I had my meds and everything before I left.
So from June to August, that's how long it took for you to get those things in order?
Well, I had an appointment and I had to wait for my appointment, and then we had court going on, so that's why I waited until after court to go, and then I had my appointment for my meds, and then it was just back-to-back things going on. And I was trying to get through them things first, and then I was gonna go, and they said they were full.
How often would you say you and Mr. Hollis argue?
Not very often at all anymore. We had one argument, I mean, and since the last time we came to court, I mean, from the last time we went to court until now, we had one argument.
And the cops just happened to get called for that one argument?
I was on the phone with somebody and they heard us arguing and they didn't know what was going on, so they called the cops. And they didn't even know what was going on. So I dropped my phone.
If you were to be court ordered to take a drug test today, would you test positive for anything?
I don't think so.
Okay. Would you be willing to take a drug test today?
Yeah.
When you would do meth, who would you do the drugs with? Was there anyone you would do the drugs with?
No, I didn't do it with anybody. I was a closet smoker.
Do you believe
I
it's fair to your child to continue to wait for you to address your issues?
Well, no.
How long should the court wait for you to start engaging in your services before they consider termination?
I am engaging in my services. I already am.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Any recross from either of our attorneys in the courtroom?
No, no.
Thank you for your testimony. We return to your seat. This time we're going to take a brief afternoon recess and we'll come back together in about 15 minutes. All right. So just before we got back on the record, we discussed the possibility that we may lose Ms. Underwood shortly after 4, as well as the possibility that we don't get through everything today. So I've arranged with the attorneys to reconvene on Friday at 10 a.m. in the event we don't finish today. We are back on the record. We're going to get as much done today as we can. So Ms. Thomas, your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll put Mr. Hollis at this time.
Okay, Mr. Harold Hollis, come up to your witness stand.
Mr. Hollis.
Hi.
Were you able to review the court report for today's hearing?
Say that again?
Did you review the court report that was provided?
Some of it.
Okay. As relates to what's contained in it, I just want to go through your case service plan real quick, okay? At this time, do you still not have any email, texting, or voicemail set up on your phone?
I had no phone again. It broke.
Okay, your phone broke again?
No.
When you do contact Ms. Garza, how do you do that?
Where this phone?
You do it through Erica's phone? Okay,
She never calls me though.
okay. And right now, your point of contact would be through Erica's phone if Ms. Garza needed to get a hold of you?
Yeah, just she's with me all the time. I don't go nowhere.
Okay.
Stay side by side.
And
Pretty
do you participate in the bi-weekly family team meetings?
Yeah, but we don't have it anymore.
When's the last time you remember having a meeting?
When they come out to our house, I don't know.
Was that earlier this month?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Okay. And during any meetings that you've had with Ms. Garza, have you been able to ask her questions about what's expected from your case service plan?
No, I already know it's supposed to be. I've done everything they said to do.
Okay,
I've been to counselors and, I got a note from my counselor, it's on Erica's, thing right now. It says she was supposed to get one too. I don't know if she did or not.
okay.
How it was going.
All right, and so you started working with that therapist, is that Miss Anna that?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so you started working with her at the end of May, correct?
yeah.
And how often are you scheduling
I went
appointments?
once a week.
Once a week? And how many have you attended total since the end of May?
Everyone she's had me come to.
Okay. The report indicates that there was cancellations on June 11th, June 18th, and August 12th. Is
No.
that correct?
Not with Anna.
Okay.
Not with Anna. The only time I missed with Anna is when she didn't show up.
Okay.
Where your information is wrong.
Okay, so that's contained in the court report, so that's not accurate according to you.
It's not. I got a paper from Anna right now. I've been there every time, every week. It's on her phone.
Okay.
She's supposed to send you one.
During this review period, so since June, have you taken any drug screens?
Okay, I don't have a drug problem. I'm not taking them because I don't have them.
But you did take drug screens in the past, and 3 of them were positive for methamphetamine and amphetamines.
I don't know. I wouldn't really take their word on it. I don't
Okay.
trust them people. I still don't trust them. I don't trust any of you. To tell you the truth.
Okay.
Carol,
And as relates to domestic violence, do you share Ms. Hollis's perspective that domestic violence isn't an issue in your home?
It ain't. It might have been a long time ago, but it ain't now.
And how are you working with the service providers? Like your therapist and Ms. Sala Garza and anyone else that you're in contact with?
Whenever they call me, I talk to them. I go to counseling every week. I don't go to see her at all unless she calls and says she's coming out there. She has never called my phone. And when I did work, she never called my phone. She ain't called about drug tests in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Would you be willing to take a drug test today?
Sure. I said, yeah.
Okay. At the last hearing, you indicated that your prescription medicine would give a false positive for meth.
Some of the stuff it says on the internet, the puffers I take and the nebulizer I take, the tube stuff is supposed to have it in it.
Okay. Did you provide that information to Ms. Sala Garza?
No, because I just didn't because she, ain't gonna believe, you ain't gonna believe anything anyway. I know I didn't do it.
Is there anything from the court report that you do agree with?
Everything, but that's no, not really.
Have you been in, throughout this case, the last year, 14 months or so, has there been anyone, a service provider or a caseworker that you have trusted?
The one I trust now is the one I'm going to now. I don't trust anybody in the courtroom.
Okay. Is there anything that the agency can do to assist you in your case service plan or any other services to address the concerns in the initial petition?
No.
What exactly do you know what you receive Social Security income for?
From my heart.
Okay. And do you have any documentation about like a possible memory or cognitive delay? No? Okay. At this time, do you believe that you would be prepared for the child to be returned to your home?
Yeah, I'm prepared. I've always been prepared.
How would you describe your home environment and your relationship with Ms. Hollis?
Well, it's always been pretty good. A few times, but not very good. Sometimes I give them leave. It's been very many times. Most of the time, it's all good.
And was that the case when your child was removed from your care last year?
Say that again?
Was that how things were, what you just described as pretty good? Was that how things were last year when your child was in your care?
It was great when she was there. Melanie and me and Erica, it was really good.
Okay. You were present for the testimony of Ms. House, correct?
Yeah.
And when I asked about the relationship with relatives, do you share the same sentiments as she did?
I don't want it. They're no relation to me anymore.
Okay,
But you already know that because I told you that the last time I was in court, that they was all dead to me. They are.
and that has not changed?
That is not changed. That never changed. And my counselor said that was okay for me to say that too, because I need to get it out. So
Excuse me.
just telling you, I'm letting you know. I have no relation. Only people I got is that her and that baby Melanie, and that's it. That's my family. The rest of them, they're dead.
Hi. Is there anything else you would like the court to know today?
So, well, yeah, if I get her back, I'm selling my home and we're leaving Michigan. Michigan will be the last place we stay. I'm moving away. I don't want to be in Michigan no more. Get my daughter back and take her. We're gonna take her. We're gonna go live a real life where my family can't say nothing.
Mr. House, in your perspective, why was your child removed from your care?
Then my sister is an asshole, that's why. She wanted her from the get-go. Said Melanie, Erica, she didn't want Erica to have her. Exactly why.
Thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, any questions, Mr. McFarland?
Nope.
Mr. Brooks?
Mr. Hollis, it would be fair to say you and your sister have never gotten along that well, right?
Not in a long time.
Even before this happened.
Yeah.
Now, I want to get to, there is a petition for termination of parental rights sitting in front of me, okay? And some of the paragraphs in here are involving you and why they say your parental rights should be terminated. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I'm going to go over some of the ones I think are the most difficult, most challenging for you to respond to. Paragraph 33A on page 7 says that you have failed to show up for random drug screens on the following dates. And the most recent one would be January the 8th. No, excuse me. Most recent one would be July 7th, 2025. And it goes all the way back through 2025. Did you know you were supposed to be doing all these drug screens?
They said they would call when they wanted to come in. She hardly ever called. She didn't say to come. They didn't say come in that day. They said she would call when they want. And like I said, I hadn't heard. Erica hadn't heard from her all of this month.
Well, you are aware though that they wanted regular drug screens?
No. She said they would call when they wanted one. They didn't say to come in every week. If they would told me to come in every week, I probably would have went in every week. But they never said that. They didn't tell me that.
Yeah, but you've also told Judge your phone's broken.
And my phone is broken, but they know to get me hold of me on Erica's phone. I'm with Erica, and she's with me. We very seldom go anywhere without going with each other anymore.
And you're saying no one has contacted you?
That's right, nobody has contacted me, and that's the truth.
And nobody has contacted your wife?
Not that I know of. We either went.
It says just above that you took drug tests in March of 25, April 25, and May of 25. All of them you tested positive for meth.
That don't mean it was me. It could have been them. They could have done something to my test. I don't trust, I'm telling you, I don't trust, I don't, including you, Mike, I don't trust you either. Really, I don't trust you either. I'm serious. I don't trust any one of you in this room.
Why do you think those tests would have tested positive for meth?
They could have put this stuff in it. They could have done anything.
Well, I guess what I'm really asking is, have you ever taken meth?
A long time ago.
Define a long time.
Actually, it wasn't even meth, it was cocaine, if you want to know. It happened a long, long time ago.
Well, define the time frame you're talking.
Years,
Years.
way
ago.
before Melanie was even thought about. Just like you brought up, they got that drunk driving I got, and that was 3 years before Melanie was even thought about. When they got something in there about me having a drunk driving. What's that got to do with Melanie and me? Nothing. That was 3 years before Melanie was even born. What happened to that thing? I went to that thing to see how me and her bonded. I didn't see any of that brought up in here. How the lady over there told me how good I bonded with my daughter. She says, I never seen a dad and daughter bond as good as you two do. I didn't hear that come up in court.
How long since you've seen your daughter?
9 months or something, like 7 months or something. Because reason I don't get to see her, and because of drugs, it's because I told that lady out there, she's not gonna call my nephew and his wife, mom and dad, when I'm around. That's
I
exactly
remember
what
that.
happened.
And I've addressed that with the court more than once, haven't I?
Yeah, it don't do no good. Still
Now-
the same thing.
Now, this domestic violence charges,
There ain't no charge.
well, you must remember that it was your wife who had called the police about these issues, right?
I don't know if it was or not. Yeah, I guess it was. I'd say it. Yeah, she probably did.
So you were charged with domestic, were you hitting her,
No,
arguing?
I argue a lot. I mean, most of the time it was about Melanie.
I didn't hear it.
Most of the time it was about Melanie.
Thank you.
It's always been about Melanie.
Something in particular?
No, it's everything.
What about, you say you have visited with some counselor on a regular basis, right?
Yeah,
What's the person's name?
Anna.
You
Oh, I
know,
know her last name. I know her by Anna.
where do you go to these?
Over here at, by the old hospital, in that, firing building.
All right, one of the medical buildings
Yeah.
surrounding the
Yeah.
old hospital.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. It's a big
And
brick
how
building
often
there.
do you go there?
Once a week,
What day?
usually on Tuesdays. Be tomorrow, 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock or something.
All right. What do you guys talk about?
I talk about me mostly. What I want to do. I want to do what I do, get my daughter back.
Do you, in your opinion, follow this counselor's advice?
Yeah, you know. Yeah, I listen to her. My goal is to get Melanie back and, you know, keep going to counseling. I go to counseling every week,
How long has that been going on?
ever since it started. Ever since all this started.
Well, let me ask you, do you trust this particular
Yeah, I do.
counselor?
Yeah, I do. I don't know why, but I do.
Have you been to any parenting classes?
Yep, I did every parenting class. The guy came right to my house and did it. Apple, whatever the name of the place was. I don't remember the name of the place. But he came every week right to our house.
Okay.
And every week.
Do you think this counseling has taught you anything?
Yeah, I've learned a lot of things. Not to get upset.
I'm sorry?
I said, I don't know, I think not to get upset, but I'm not upset, so. The counselor didn't ask me, why are you not upset? I said, because it don't do me no good, because it just gets me farther deeper in trouble, so I don't even, she says, okay.
Are you receptive to learning the lessons the DHHS has tried to teach you through their programs?
I've learned, for parenting classes and stuff like that. Yeah, I've learned a lot of things on there. First of all, you don't put your kid in the middle of it, like they was putting Melanie in the middle of us. They was.
Who's they?
The CPS and all them and them people out there. They put her in the middle of it, just like that Moore lady put her in the middle of it.
Well, when she's 3 years old, at the time I imagine she was 2, she really doesn't understand any of this, does she?
Oh, yeah, she does. I
Does
guarantee
she?
she's smarter than what you think. She's smart.
What could this court and the DHHS do, if anything, to help you improve the situation so you could get your child back?
I'm ready for her to get back. My house is ready. Her room is ready. I don't need nobody's help. I don't want their help for sure. I just don't want them people's help at all. I'll keep going to counseling and all that, but I don't want nothing to do with the people there. People there are done. Like I said, this person I really trust, and she ain't here right now.
Are you taking any medications at the present time, sir?
Good for my heart
And what
and
would
my
that?
lungs.
Huh?
I take a heart pill. I take water pill. I take pills for my lungs. I take 9 pills a day.
Yeah, me too. Same reason. I see it, looking at all the things where it says you've fallen short on this petition, it says partial compliance with most of them, okay? That's what they say.
Done all but one. I've done everything but one. I've done everything and did everything right except for one, and that's the drug test. Everything
Yeah,
else I've
that's a
done.
biggie too. You see, you understand that? My point.
But the drugs don't have nothing to do with why they took her.
Now,
If there
it
was.
says you've done partial compliance on all of these things. All these things.
You mean partial, Mike? What do you mean partial? I go to that meeting every week. I go see her every week.
All right.
I did the thing to go, for the people come out to my house. They come out once a week. We did the family team, we did the family count, whatever that, talked about how better a parent you could be and all that. And I did that every week until the guy said, well, you guys don't need me no more. I'm gonna sign you out and say you're a good day. That's the last time I've seen him. So you're saying he's only partial too? We only
Well,
partial him?
You asked me a question. Now let me answer it for you, okay? Paragraph 26 on page 5 says you haven't kept in good contact with DHHS, and you've just told the court that you don't have a phone.
I don't. But they know Erica's phone is, they can get a hold of me on Erica's phone.
That's what they mean by partial compliance. Do you disagree with that?
Why do I have to have a phone for it? Why do I need a phone? I carried one for 35 years when I was a plumber, and I don't want to carry one anymore, and I'm not gonna take a phone. I'm not gonna have a phone.
Well, sir, I'm not gonna argue with you, but it's because the court says you had to have that as a condition of going through your process here.
I don't have one anymore. Again, it just quit working, and I'm not buying another phone.
All right? Says you will not violate any civil or criminal laws. It says non-compliance.
And I have it.
Well,
Tell me what I violated. What law what did I break?
domestic violence.
That was way back. We had not had a long time.
You would sign all necessary documents
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the department asks you to do.
I have signed everything they've ever asked me to sign.
So as far as you know, there's nothing that they've asked you to sign you haven't signed.
Nope. I was there the other day when they dropped the papers off for the courts that, she brought out to my house and Eric and me both signed them at the same place, same time.
Says you will agree to be emotionally and mentally stable and to participate in all services to get to that point.
Yeah, I've done everything they said.
But you're not taking any medications to stabilize your emotions.
Why would I want to take medicine I don't have to take? Nobody's ever told me I had to take medicine for anything.
Okay,
I take medicine for my heart and that's it. I wouldn't take that if I didn't have to.
okay. It says here you are partially successful at it. And I think that kind of goes through most of it that matters. The only reason you can't go attend parenting time is because the court's ordered you not to, right?
Courts didn't tell me not to do. Oh, yeah, I'll tell you that, yeah.
You'd be out there this afternoon,
I'd
right?
be visiting there today. You're right, I would be.
Is there anything else you want the court to know?
No. Nothing.
You think you're a good dad?
I think I will. Let me tell you something. I can get about 3 people that own businesses that I took her with me up there. Mark Duchesne's all the sales. I forgot to get by there today to get my paper for the court, but he still ain't figured out why all this, because I had her up there with me. She played around in the shop when I was up there, all that, and you know, when I wasn't a good dad, yeah, right.
You think your wife is a good mother to her daughter?
Yeah.
Do you see any place where you or she could improve?
I'm getting better. All I can say. I'm saying I'm getting better, you know, except you.
And how are you getting better?
Well, I'm not tearing your head off right now, am I?
No, you're not.
Okay, there you go. Don't you think that's a lot better? I'm not getting loud, am I?
No, you're not.
Okay, there you go. That's a lot better.
I really want to give you a chance. If you've got anything on your mind you want to tell the judge, I'm trying to give you the chance to tell her.
There's nothing else on my mind other than I want my daughter back.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. McFarland, any questions?
There's not.
Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Can you redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. May you return to your seat. Any other witnesses today, Ms. Thomas?
Your Honor, I'll just call Ms. Sala Garza for her report.
Ms. Delagarza, come on.
All right, Ms. Sala Garza, are there, as it relates to your court report, are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to it?
No.
Okay, since June 2nd, can you just briefly highlight how the parents have complied with or benefited from their case service plan?
The counseling, I would say, is sporadic. Mr. Hollis is going to Mindful Hearts with Anna, but she stated to me that he has missed 3 appointments and has attended 5 or 6 total. And as far as Miss Hollis, she's only attended the intake appointment last week. As far as domestic violence and mental health, I mean, shortly after the court hearing that we had, the police were called out to their home because they were arguing. She locked him out of the house. He turned off the power, broke a window trying to get back in. And the police reports also stated that she had a small cut on her nose, probably from the window. So I do think it's very concerning that they are continuing to minimize, if not deny, domestic violence. As far as drug screens, since the last court hearing that we had, the most recent time that I asked them to drug screen would have been on July 21st. I did ask them to come to the office at one point, and they had stated that they did not have a ride. And because of the issues with Mr. Hollis's phone, I've just been sending text messages to Miss Hollis to say today's drug screen day. And housing, I did put in my court report, but they do have carpet and a bed frame in the child's room. There's no mattress yet. But also she has breathing issues, and they smoke in the home, and it's very, a very strong odor of cigarette smoke in there, which would not be beneficial to her, especially with her problems with breathing.
Throughout the case, the issue hasn't necessarily been about the parents violating any civil or criminal laws, but rather not keeping you informed of contacts with law enforcement, correct?
Yes, Ms. Hollis did tell me, I believe the day after the incident had happened, but her text message just said, just so you know, police were out at our home, but it was just all verbal, I think is what her wording was.
And you have attached to your court report several police reports throughout the case, the duration of this case. Can you explain why you did that?
Yes, I was able to get those. I did find out through the law enforcement interaction that they had in June. I just asked for any police reports that had to do with either the home or either of the parents, and those were the reports that they sent me.
So prior to June, when you were in contact about the June 4th incident, you were not aware of several of those contacts, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let's see. As it relates to the parents complying with mental health treatment, Mr. Hollis, he has never been under psychiatric care, correct?
Correct.
And has he done any intakes for a psychiatric assessment or further psychological testing as indicated in his psychological?
No.
And there was a lot of testimony at the last hearing about a change in providers and his attendance in therapy. Was there anything in this reporting period that changed from those prior reporting periods, or has that also been consistent with the new therapist, Anna?
That's been pretty consistent. She did state that his main goals are getting the child back and working on anger management.
Ms. Hollis indicated that she was present for her July 28th medication review. The report indicates she was not. Could you have any explanation as to the conflicting information?
When I spoke with CMH, they had stated to me that she did not participate on 7/28. They stated that she had another appointment August 13th, and that one she did attend.
Okay. As relates to assisting Ms. Hollis with finding substance abuse treatment, can you just give us any updates into what efforts the agency made to assist her?
Yes, she did state that she wanted to go to one specific inpatient rehab. I think Harbor Light is the name. And in Monroe, and so she was trying to get in there. I did try to call myself, but they stated that she would have to be the one to call, since it is voluntary to go in there. And then I did ask her when I served them the paperwork on August 7th, if she had any updates about rehab, and she told me that beds were full and that she was waiting for her CMH case manager to contact her back. And I told her to let me know if she needed any help with that, and then I didn't hear back about that specifically until August 18th. But it was basically just to say that she had told her case manager that she was looking for counseling at this point.
One of the things that Ms. House also said is that she was not aware of her daughter's medical history or appointments or anything like that. How often are you providing the parents with her medical passport?
We provide them at least quarterly.
And is that per policy?
Yes.
And can you just briefly, for the record, indicate what the medical passport is?
The medical passport just has all of the dates that they have had any kind of medical appointments, whether it be just their well child, dental exam, or any kind of specialist that they've seen. And in there also states where they went for the doctor's appointment, what date it was, and what was the outcome of that appointment.
And for the record, can you briefly remind us what the requirements were for the agency to recommend parenting time for the parents again?
Yes, it was to produce 3 negative drug screens and participate consistently and benefit from services, and to get good report from service providers.
And would you say that in the last, almost 3 months that he has been more consistent with his individual therapist than the other review periods?
I would say it's about the same. Like I said, he has missed 3 appointments and started at the end of May. But I guess it was a little bit better than what he had been doing before.
And I know you briefly mentioned that the last time you offered a drug screen was July 21st, is that correct?
Yes.
And prior to that, how were you offering drug screens?
I would send Ms. Hollis a text stating that it was her drug screen day.
Okay, and was that just for her, or was that for both Mr. and Ms. Hollis?
That was for both of them.
In several documents that we've had throughout the case, there have been mentions of power control dynamics within the couple, and that needed to be addressed. And during this review period, has that been addressed at all?
No.
These parents do have, I would determine, or I guess categorize it as a fairly positive report from Orchard's Family Services, I believe is the Family Assistance Program. Can you tell us why the court shouldn't consider that in part of that parenting time determination?
I did ask for the service even to be extended. I asked a couple times what kind of things that they were working on. Usually with that program, parents have 3 goals. And these parents only had 2 goals. One of them was working on positive parenting techniques, and the other was to learn new steps to manage their stress that they had. They did successfully complete it, according to Orchard's, on June 13th. Part of that was because mom had stated to them that she was going into rehab, so he wouldn't be able to work with her any longer, which is why he was not able to extend that service.
The child is currently, to the best of your knowledge, has the child asked for or spoken of her parents since parenting time has been suspended?
I believe in the very beginning, in January, that she had asked a couple times about them, if she was upset or things like that. But she has not asked about them or talked about them in months.
And in the current foster care home, does Melanie have her own bed to sleep in?
Yes.
And does it have child appropriate toys, materials for her to work on her development?
Yes.
And are they taking her to childcare or a learning facility on a regular basis?
Yes, they are.
And are they regularly making sure she attends any medical appointments?
Yes.
In this relative placement, does the child have an opportunity to have relationships with extended biological family members?
Yes, she does.
And do you believe that the placement's also considering ethnic and cultural considerations when they're engaging with the child?
Yes.
Melanie has been in care since June of 2024, correct?
Yes.
And she hasn't necessarily verbalized any preference to you about where she lives?
No.
Does she seem well adjusted in her current home environment?
Yes, she does.
And does she get to participate in typical childhood activities?
Yes.
Can you give us some examples?
Yeah. So the family goes to places like the zoo. They've gone on vacation with the child, and she has gone to like swimming pools. They're teaching her how to swim, and just any kind of holidays or relative get-togethers that they have.
And is she still currently receiving speech and language services through her preschool?
Yes.
And is she continuing to make progress in those areas?
Yes, her speech has flourished. She's doing very well.
And are there any other areas of need that she continues to receive services for?
No, just she does have like a specialist appointment. She went to the cardiologist because I was able to get her birth records, and in the birth records it says that she has a or had a heart abnormality, and so the relative caregivers followed up on that and took her to the cardiologist. And they said that she still has an abnormality with her heart, but she just has to go every 3 years to get checked.
And then there's in the report the indication of the smoking in the home is a concern given her issues with her lungs, I believe. Can you just briefly elaborate what's going on there?
Yes, sometimes when she gets like a normal cold, she'll have to do breathing treatments because sometimes it will get difficult for her to breathe. The relative caregivers did make her an appointment with the pulmonologist, but the earliest they could get it was a couple months from now. But she is going to see if there's something else that they should be doing or just continue the breathing treatments as needed.
Well, with that, Your Honor, I have no further questions of Ms. Delgarza. I'm going to ask the court to accept the court report.
Objections?
No.
Objection.
My dad had the same thing like that. He had the same thing like that. It's a family thing. It's not just because of Melanie. It's not just because of Melanie. My dad had it. He died from it.
Have you been made aware of the fact that there seems to be a family genetic trait that is being described by you as being something that Melanie suffers with?
Mr. Brooks, do you have any objection to the entry of the court report and the exhibits?
No.
Okay, you may proceed with your question.
Did you follow my question?
Yes, I was not made aware of that by the parents. That would be good information to have.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
Yeah, has nothing to do really with what we're doing here, but there you go. All right. This medical, what did you call it?
Passport.
Passport.
Mhm.
How is that communicated to my client?
It's sent to them in email quarterly.
Not by you personally.
Yes, by me personally.
You email it to Harold and to his wife?
I email it to Erica because Harold does not have email.
All right. So it is emailed to Erica and you have no way of getting it to Harold, is that correct?
I could mail it but what I understood is that she shows him if I send texts or emails.
He did what?
My understanding was that she shows him if I text her about something or email her about something that they were sharing it, since he does not have email.
I see. I see. Are you recommending termination of parental rights?
Yes, I am.
Why?
Because we've already been going on with this case for over a year and the parents are still not making enough progress to continue. And I believe that the child needs permanency, especially at her age. And I don't believe that either parent is able to do that in a short amount of time.
That's all I have.
Mr. McFarland, any questions?
I do. As far as child-parent bonding, you would agree that when my client was having visits with a child appeared to have a bond with mother, right?
Somewhat of a bond, yes.
There's been no test or anything to demonstrate that there's still, or that the bond does not exist, correct?
No.
So you can't say with any certainty that there is no bond between mother and child, correct?
No.
No, you can't say.
No, I can't say.
Okay, thanks. You indicated, Mr. Brooks asked a question about his client. Did you comply with any cultural or social norms? It's one of the questions here, or one of the best interest factors. What ethnic considerations or cultural considerations did you comply with?
So the child attends holidays that the parents would have done with her also, and she's able to continue doing those through the relative caregiver.
What holidays are we talking about?
Christmas, Thanksgiving, Halloween, I know they've done, and things like 4th of July.
Okay. So there's no ethnic or nationality, cultural issues, correct?
Correct.
You seem to make a big deal about both parents smoking in the house. We agree there's no immediate goal for reunification of the child with the parents, and their visitation rights have been suspended for a while, correct?
Correct.
You have no way of knowing that they're going to continue to smoke in the house if the child will return, do you?
I have no way of knowing that though, but it would still smell like smoke.
How long does it take to air out a house?
I don't know the answer to
You're
that.
not an expert on that, are you? If this court were not to terminate parental rights today, where should my client's focus be For example, maybe specifically what steps would you want her to take immediately if her rights were not terminated today?
To get into some kind of inpatient rehab. And if all the beds are full everywhere, to at least do outpatient and participate in drug screens also.
Is there really a purpose for past drug screens if she admits that she's still been addicted and using? What's the purpose really if she's making admissions of still having an addiction?
I mean, we didn't get admissions of her addiction until later in this case, right before the last court hearing that we had. So before that, she should have been screening, and that's one of her court-ordered things is to screen.
True, but on your show cause, the purpose of drug screening is to identify if she's been using, correct?
Yes.
She's telling you she's using during this last reporting period. What's the purpose of it then?
Just to make sure that we have proof of what she tests positive for or negative for.
Okay. I know in this petition, you mentioned past suicide attempts by my client. There's been nothing like that in this last period, correct?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Nothing like that for some time, correct?
Since December and before that, August of last year.
Last year, correct. I know you mentioned that you inspected the house in this report, correct?
Just where they allow me to inspect.
Well, the child's room, correct?
Yes.
And I think you indicated that in your report that they were making some improvements to the house, correct?
Yes.
And you made a concern that there's only the subfloor in the room, correct? Child's room?
That was not the most recent home visit that I did.
Okay. The most recent home visit, things were appropriate in the child's room, is that correct?
They have carpet and a bed frame, but no mattress.
Okay. Well, they don't need a mattress yet because the child's, there's no immediate expectation of the child returning home, correct?
Correct.
So you're not holding that against them?
No.
Parents should not violate any civil or criminal law. You indicated not compliant, but by that definition, my client has not violated any civil law during this last report period, correct? Let me rephrase that. Civil law be writing her a ticket. She's given a ticket or a citation for violating a civil law.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Criminal law. Was she arrested?
No.
Was she convicted of anything?
No.
So there's no evidence of her either violating a civil or criminal law. There's been no adjudication civilly or criminally. You would agree with that, correct?
Correct.
Now, this incident that you mentioned in your report, no arrest, correct?
No, because they could not find the parents.
I don't care for what reason, but there was no arrest, right?
Correct.
There are some positive things. Basically, you would agree that they have sufficient income to support a child, correct, and themselves.
Yes.
Also agree that they have housing, correct? They're not living on the streets.
Correct.
When this case started, there was an incident where my client was found in a ditch, correct?
Yes.
Okay. There's been no wild, emotional issues like this during this last reporting period with my client, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Well, sounds as though you searched the databases and question people to try to determine if there's anything, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Maybe a positive step that my client is indeed at least had initial consultation with the counselor, correct?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm consulting my client. I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Underwood, did you have any questions for this witness?
None, Your Honor. Thank you.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you for your testimony. May I record your seat? All right, it's 4:15. Ms. Thomas, are you finished with witness testimony today?
I am, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, did you have any further witness testimony?
No,
Mr. McFarland?
Inquire of my client. My client indicates she's satisfied with her prior testimony, Your Honor.
Ms. Underwood, did you intend to call any witnesses today?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very well. I'd like to have the parties prepare their closing arguments, and I'll issue my findings at our continuation hearing, which has already been established this Friday at 10 a.m. All other prior orders not in conflict would remain in full force and effect for those purposes. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today. We'll see you Friday.
Thank you,
My
Judge.
client's
The conclusion of the review, permanency planning hearing, and request for termination of parental rights on this case. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Good morning, Your Honor. Nicole Underwood, lawyer guardian ad litem for the minor child.
Ms. Saja Thomas, counsel for the department. Ms. Dela Garza.
Brandy Della Garza, the foster care worker from Fostering Solutions.
Michael Brooks, I represent Harold Hollis, father of the child.
Harold Hollis.
Michael McFarland, representing mother.
Eric Hollis.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Thomas, if you could, I think your microphone is a little quiet this morning. But other than that, what I have in my notes, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are at the point where I'm just looking for your closings, and then I would make my decision. Is there anything else that we need to address on the record before we head into that?
Not from my end, Your Honor.
That's also my understanding, Judge.
Okay. All right, Ms. Thomas, let's start with you. We're going to let Nicole Underwood, our guardian ad litem, go last so she can hear everything everybody has to say before I listen to her recommendations.
Thank you, Your Honor. Majority of my closing, I would rely on my petition that was filed in this matter in July, asking the court to terminate the parent's parental rights so the child can be freed for adoption. Majority of the petition relies on the fact that the parents have either not complied or engaged in their case service plan or have failed to benefit from it. And under MCL 712A point 19B3 CI, we do have two parents who have been respondents for 182 or more days since that initial case service plan was entered. And the conditions that led to adjudication, this court will recall, there were concerns about domestic violence in the home. At first, there were allegations of some severe physical domestic violence, and also about potential drug use, and then the living conditions for the child. And Your Honor, during this case, what we've not been able to really thoroughly develop as relates to the parents has been the substance abuse component. Ms. Hollis lately, or more recently in the last two review hearings, I believe, has finally admitted to that. And Mr. Hollis, despite having those 3 positive screens, continues to maintain he does not have a substance abuse problem. However, he did not provide any information or evidence to us, or even provide us the name of the medications that would provide a false positive for methamphetamines. During this case, we've also had numerous reports from therapists indicating that there is concern about the potential power and control dynamic within that relationship. And just a few days ago, we've heard from both parents that they do not believe that there are any issues in their relationship as relates to domestic violence, because verbal or oral arguments are not domestic violence, since it's not physical. And from the parent's perspective, the their issues have never harmed their child. And I think that's the real crux of where we have to rely on the information we have from the service providers, the trauma assessment, the psychologicals, that there is a harm to this child, that this child has experienced a significant amount of instability and a hostile home environment when she was with the parents. The police had found her hiding in a ditch with Miss Hollis, and to say that she was not ever harmed is really concerning, that there's no awareness of how their behaviors, their words, and their actions towards one another and to others in front of the child can lead to emotional harm. As this court will recall, parenting time was suspended back in early January of this year based on reports from Ms. Moore and from the agency that there were some inappropriate behaviors, not necessarily towards the child, but in front of the child towards other adults in the room. One of the things that stood out to me from this case that I recall was Mr. Hollis was upset about the clothing his daughter was wearing, referred to it, I think, as secondhand or trashy clothing in front of her. And while that might have been his opinion to say it in front of his child, I think that there's a lack of awareness of what that can do to a little one's psyche. Moreover, we've heard from Ms. Hollis numerous times now, or at least since her last review hearing, about her intentions to get inpatient treatment. And I want to say that she's probably in a contemplative state in her recovery if she has maintained her sobriety the last few days. And we don't have any tests to prove that. We don't have a substance abuse assessment to kind of go through. There's been a real lack of acknowledgement of the issues at hand, Your Honor. As relates to the best interest, I think that this court has significant information within the court record to prove by preponderance of the evidence that it is in this child's best interest for her parents' parental rights to be terminated. Although she is in a relative placement, and I know that the court must consider that, these parents have indicated on the record and by their conduct have indicated that they do not want to have a relationship with the relatives who are providing care for their daughter. And that has not availed them to alternative options for permanency, like a guardianship, or being able to be around her more during family functions, or those holidays that we sometimes will get when we have those family placements. So in this case, that does not weigh against termination. I would like to give credit to the parents for updating their home in order for it to become more prepared for the child to come home, Your Honor. But at this time, it's been a year and we still have limited acknowledgement and progress. And so I don't believe that at this time that their home environment would be appropriate for the child. The child is in a home that provides for her needs. She has developed strong emotional attachments to the caregivers and to the other relatives that are in that home and their extended relatives. And I believe that the parents' lack of compliance and benefit from their case service plan speaks volumes as to their parenting ability. And Your Honor, for those reasons, we are asking the court to grant the relief requested within the petition. Thank you.
Mr. McFarland, would you like to go next?
Sure. One thing I'd like to point out is the operative word of the attorney for the agency is that parents' actions can lead to emotional harm to the child, not that it did lead to emotional harm of the child. We've had no expert testimony during the trial that I recall that their actions, verbal actions, led to any emotional harm to the child. Their house is much better than it was, and the agency is in no position to immediately return the child. I think this case is, we're taking an analogy, is like a big cruise ship. It's very hard to get turning. And once it's on course, it's very hard to veer off course. And I think these parents have made that turn straight. That mother has indeed acknowledged that she has a drug issue and she wishes to address that. That's a really big turnover. course, they've been denied parenting time for some time, but when they last met with the child, there still was a bond with the child. And there's been no testimony that there wouldn't yet be a bond with the child if they were to have parenting time, Your Honor. Couples argue. I don't know any couple that doesn't argue. Walking away, like this couple did during the last argument, seems to be a proven course that's taught many times, to walk away from arguments. Take a break. Appears to be what they did. The client did testify as to the best interest factors in this case. They do have some physical issues. I haven't heard really any type of accommodation for that. At this point, the question is there an expectation that in a reasonable amount of time, they can get their act together? And I think they're well along that path. Their income seems to be sufficient. They've made improvements on the house. You know, DHHS, per policy, they don't remove a child if parents are functional addicts, Your Honor. Mother seems to be functional. She seems to be, we haven't heard any stories of any reports of her being passed out, of her in a ditch as the initial allegations were on this case. We haven't heard any of these bizarre ideations or behaviors. We believe that their expectation can be met by the parents, my client, that they can achieve the goals of the case service plan. We're asking that the court not terminate the parental rights and restore parenting time so they can come to a closure on this case. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks?
The 1950s, there was an anthropologist considered to be the finest educator in the world at that time, named Margaret Mead. And she had studied many different cultures, found that when measured against what we would consider the norm, they deviated considerably from the norm. But she didn't consider those to be deviant behaviors because they were not presenting problems to the culture as a whole, their culture as a whole. Now, in our case, I will be the first to acknowledge, it's no secret, that Harold Hollis is frustrated by being in this situation and thinks that the taking of his child for the length of time he has is an injustice. Harold tends to express his frustration in a way that is not, how would I put it, socially acceptable in many ways. And he has unintentionally, I believe, communicated an attitude that he does not in actuality share. He has a stable relationship with his wife. They have a child, now a 3-year-old child together. I can tell you that the way I met Harold Hollis was he was operating a business of his own, and I hired him to do some work in my yard, which he did a fine job, and I paid him for it, no complaints. But if you were to ask him how he feels about me, or this court, or the DHS and its staff members, you would probably hear something that sounded to our ears offensive. And that can lead to a false impression. The fact is, he has not harmed his child. He has not harmed his wife. to my knowledge, he's never harmed anybody. But if you listen to him talk, you'd think he was a semi-controlled bear of a man. He's not. He's just a normal guy with a limited education and a limited vocabulary who uses the vocabulary he knows how to use in a way that's offensive. I've had many cases where the client really wasn't that bad, but they just weren't going to cooperate verbally and accept the authority of a court or the department. And I think verbally that's what you're getting from Harold, but I don't think he really is acting that way. And I would hope the court would take that into account when deciding whether or not he and his wife should have another chance to raise a child. Thank you.
Ms. Underwood.
Thank you, Your Honor. As I say in many of these hearings, termination trials are never easy, and it is my job to look out for what is in the best interest of each minor child that I represent. It's hard to watch parents who come back review after review and fail to really see or acknowledge any type of wrongdoing that has impacted their child, and acknowledge any reasoning as to why we're all involved to the point that we are. While I appreciate that the parties have done some work when it comes to parenting classes, the blatant disregard to acknowledge substance use on behalf of Harold continues to be a problem. He's attended a substance use evaluation and declined to indicate he had any substance problem, so there was nothing that could be done there. And Miss Hollis did the same thing. It took her a year to acknowledge that she had any substance use disorder or drug problem, and when she did in the June hearing, she said she would be going on Thursday to check herself into inpatient, and here we are, it's almost September, and she hasn't done anything to acknowledge that issue or to further it. I confirmed with CMH, there is not a 3-month wait list for substance use disorder inpatient treatment. It's at most a 2-week wait. So, I mean, realistically, Ms. Hollis could have been at the near end of her substance use disorder treatment and on her way to recovery. However, she's still sitting in the courtroom today and hasn't taken any steps in order to address that issue. It's interesting that Mr. McFarland said that the parties now know how to deal with conflict. They just walk away, yet he failed to mention the fact that his client locked Mr. Hollis out of the house, and then Mr. Hollis proceeded to break a window to get back in. There continues to be police involvement. There continues to be arguing and fighting. Again, the parties are downplaying it now, but the police reports in the initial petition indicate otherwise. The dysfunction in their relationship is far beyond just fighting. It's not functional or healthy or in the best interest of any child. Mr. Hollis's refusal to participate in any services, again, shows his stubbornness is winning out over taking the steps and putting in the work to get his daughter back. And that's unfortunate. But again, the department can only help provide services and give options and assist with those things. They can't make the parents do the work here. And I believe the department has gone above and beyond to try to assist with connecting the parties to these services in order to try to get their child back. And they have, again, Mr. Hollis has done very little. And Miss Hollis, again, has failed to treat her mental health and her substance use disorder. She's been hospitalized. Miss Hollis has been hospitalized for her mental health and even had some paranoia or some sort of hallucinations during her psych eval. So again, her mental health is still also untreated, or at the very most only at the beginning since she just started engaging in services again. Again, Your Honor, I never really like to recommend termination. However, in this case, the parents have done very little to benefit their daughter. And if she were to be returned to their care today, she'd be in the same situation that she was in a year ago. And that is truly not in the child's best interest. She is in a place now with relatives that care for her, that provide her with her needs, that provide her stability, consistency, and a healthy family environment. So again, it's unfortunate that we're here today, but again, I do think that it is in the child's best interest, based not only on the petition and the lack of services that the parties have engaged in, but also it's unfair to this child to continue waiting for permanency while her parents may or may not put in the work in order to better themselves for the benefit of their child. So I would ask that the court proceed with termination of parental rights today. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, the court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's review, permanency planning hearing, show cause hearing as it relates to both parents, as well as the request for the court to terminate parental rights of both parents. As it relates to the review, I do find reasonable efforts towards the goal of adoption at this point are being met. The secondary goal remained, or not necessarily the secondary, but the alternative goal remained reunification. And to her credit, Ms. De La Garza continued to try to keep track of the parents and to refer them to services and to monitor those services. And those details are outlined in the court report, as well as her testimony that was taken earlier on this review hearing. A couple of good examples are tracking Ms. Erica Hollis's attempts at rehabilitation around substance use and how that is playing out as it relates to her progress in that area. That's inextricably tied to the progress in the area of her mental health treatment. She's been in and out of several different services, and Ms. De La Garza continued to report on her efforts all the way up until this last hearing. She also continued to try to keep track of Mr. Hollis. Unfortunately, that included keeping track of the times that the police intervention was necessary at the home of the parents. But technically speaking, all of those things are considered reasonable efforts towards the alternative goal of reunification, which is tracking the client's progress on their case services plan around treatment for substances, mental health issues that were highlighted at the outset of the case and continued to be issues as we went through the reviews all the way up until this last hearing, regardless of the goal change at the hearing before this one. It also included tracking the progress on the Orchards Family Assistance Program. And of course, all the documents that were supplied in support of her report. Our guardian ad litem is also certainly in compliance with her obligations to the family, and I appreciate the advocacy of our attorneys this morning and in prior hearings. As it relates to the show cause for failure to follow the case services plan, that is inextricably tied to the court's findings as to whether or not there's been progress made on those case services plans. The burden as it relates to a show cause is obviously similar to a burden in a criminal case as it relates to the burden, since a show cause could potentially result in incarceration or some other fines and costs associated with contempt of court for failure to abide by the court's order. I do find that, objectively speaking, and by their own admissions, Mr. Hollis is refusal to engage in case services around substance abuse, in counseling, and even communication with Ms. De La Garza, visitation are all irrefutable proofs that he is, and he's told us he doesn't trust anybody and that he has frankly, no intention of engaging with the services that have been instituted for him. There was some limited testimony that he's engaged in counseling, but as I really looked at those proofs, I think I only saw like 2 visits in the last report period, and that's over the course of the entire case time frame. Ms. Erica Walker is not currently engaged in services. She indicated at the Orchards family, she indicated to Tyler Korwicki at the tail end of her Orchards family services planning that she wished to check herself into a rehabilitation program, and that was why they closed their case. And that's what cited that at the back of the closing report on that. She herself told us she was going to go to rehabilitation and try to get some treatment for substance abuse. She's admitted on record that she's using methamphetamines as recently as 5 days ago. So those are clear indications that she's disregarded her case services plan, and that would be considered contempt of court. As it relates to the consequences for a contempt of court, I'm simply going to note as part of today's findings and in support of my decision to terminate the rights of both of these parents, that is certainly a contributing factor to the court's decision in agreeing that there is clear and convincing evidence to terminate their parental rights. So I'll note that in the court order as it relates to the request for review of the show cause. As it relates to the termination of parental rights, the court is asked to look at that as a two-phase series of findings. The first is to determine whether there's clear and convincing evidence to support that the statutory grounds for termination of parental rights has been established. The second is to determine if it's in the child's best interest to terminate the parental rights by a preponderance of the evidence. The sections of the statute that are asked of the court to consider do include the provision that relates to failure to complete case services and whether or not there is a time frame, a reasonable time frame during which the parents could potentially comply with those services and benefit from those services. And that's found under MCL 712A.19B3CI. In this case, certainly the respondent mother and father were respondents in a proceeding brought under this chapter more than 182 days ago. Specifically, the disposition in initial case services plan adjudication was done by trial on 9/9/24, continued to the 13th, and then the initial disposition took place October 7th, 2024. So it's certainly more than 6 months or 182 days, and that was as it relates to both parents. At that time, a case services plan was entered that outlined the abuse and neglect dynamics in the home, the domestic violence dynamics between the parents is articulated during the trial, found by the court during the trial. We had, of course, the psychiatric issues that mom was experiencing here, Ms. Walker. Finding her in the ditch, for example, officers, her admitting that she's hearing voices even during her psychological evaluation, frankly, as recently as in the last report period to her counselor, one of the last times that she went to see her counselor. At that time, she was in and out of Mr. Hollis's home. They were not married. During the course of the period of time that the case has been open, they did get married. Mr. Hollis did not engage in case services in any real substantial way. Demonstrated some skills around interacting with his child during parenting time, during the trauma assessment. But he also demonstrated a really significant disconnect around understanding how his fight with Ms. Erica Hollis now, as well as his approach to parenting are detrimental to the child. So some examples of that are during the trauma assessment, the child demonstrated a fear of men. She had been, the family at the outset of the case was refusing to allow their daughter to be evaluated by early on, refusing to engage in some kind of Head Start programs or any kind of education or analysis of what her needs could be. She, at the time of removal, had significant physical limitations noted during the CTAC. Specifically, they were evaluated. She had some vision issues. She demonstrated food insecurity signs by shoveling food into her mouth, for example, hiding from people. She had some real indications that she had seen the domestic violence dynamics in the home and that had affected her. She had some delays that were being ignored. She was literally found the borderline risk in areas of cognitive functioning, receptive functioning, fine and gross motor skills. So the parents showed some skills in bonding with the child, especially the father more than the mother. The bonding assessment with the mother was a really a more disconnected bond there, even at the time of the CTAC, which was put into evidence, I should say, at the time frame for the initial disposition back October 7th, 2024. So it had been done before that. You know, mom had described the child as bad, as a bully, who would deliberately do things, bad things, and laugh about it. The child was not really very interactive with her during that assessment. She would command the child to do some things, but really wasn't able to play with her, would have had a lot of trouble keeping up with her due to her physical limitations. And the child really didn't demonstrate that she wanted to go to her mother. She went to another person who was present there during the evaluation for comfort. And really the child refused to engage with her mom on the activities that took place during that trauma assessment. Dad's involvement indicated that he had decent interactions with the child, but he talked with her about things that had nothing to do with things that she would particularly be interested in, repairing cars and some other items and issues, and really didn't engage in any parenting time to demonstrate that he understood how to take care of her or any regular caretaking skills for his child. At the time of the removal, Erica Hollis had taken the child, left the home. She was clearly in the middle of a psychotic episode. And Mr. Hollis had not even really reported that anything was going on. Wasn't reporting concerns about how that could affect his daughter. So I think in short, he'd like to hang out with her. And he certainly cares about his daughter, but as to understanding how his decisions to use substances and how to resolve conflict in the home were really affecting her. And his failure to understand or refusal to understand her basic needs and her developmental needs also significantly affected her. She has a litany of specialized services that she continues to engage in order to overcome some of those limitations as a result of the delay in attention on those areas. I want to talk for a moment about the psychological evaluation and Harold's interview with Renee Moore. Both parents have some physical limitations, which is really just a minor issue as it relates to their interactions with the child, with the exception that it does contribute to their inability to keep her safe. She's a toddler, she's moving quickly. During the investigation into the home, it's only been very recently that the child's home environment potentially with the Hollises would have been even remotely safe. For a long time, for several review periods, I was hearing about how the child's room was stripped down to a subfloor, that the house was under construction, that it was not livable for a child or safe for a child at that time. They did remedy that. And in the meantime, the child is working on her developmental delays in the areas of fine motor skills, cognition, language and communication, emotional regulation, and coping skills. Harold, during his interview with Renee Moore, denied any domestic violence issues or any other issues, despite evidence at the outset of the case that he did have a drunk driving. And then, of course, I had ordered substance abuse services and an analysis because of that indication. During the course of the case, he did take some drug tests that did show up positive. So there was clearly an indication of substance issues there that arguably, if he resolved those, could have helped him resolve some of the domestic violence dynamics in the home, helped him develop some conflict resolution skills that didn't involve things like breaking windows in order to get back in the house, which happened just recently, or some of the other litany of phone calls that were tracked and received by the court during the course of time interactions with neighbors that resulted in police calls, his interactions with his wife that resulted in police calls. I mean, these are not, it's sure every couple fights, but not every couple has fights that regularly require police involvement and attention to make sure that nothing significant is happening or no one needs to be arrested. And those are dynamics that clearly affect a child's ability to work on their skills, and did affect her here. And we have documentation of that. So the claim that really there's no harm, no foul here because of the way that parents interact and their substance use and their failure to look at their psychological issues, that really fails when you look at the proof that the court received over the period of time that this child was in care. She's still in many of those services to try to overcome the challenges that she faced while she was in the care of her parents. And she has made progress since then, which I will say has been great. So, Mr. Hollis has clearly not made progress in the areas that he needed to around substance use, dynamics in the home, psychological interventions to try to reduce or eliminate the conflict in the home that has affected the child. He has not made progress in the area of understanding developmental needs of a child or how to take care of those needs or how to support the special needs of his child moving forward. And it's been nearly a year. 6 months is the time frame that the court is asked to look at by statute. It's been more than 6 months. She's a very young child. She needs safety and stability. So I cannot find that there's any reasonable likelihood that the conditions created by Mr. Hollis will be rectified within a reasonable time considering the child's age. And under subsection J, which is the other section that the court's been asked to look at, that there is a very much a reasonable likelihood based on his continued demonstrated conduct and lack of capacity in parenting that this child would be harmed if returned to the home of Mr. Hollis. So we went through a lot of the details on that during the last report period, and I've highlighted many of those. The record really speaks for itself. The arguments have been made also very well by Ms. Thomas and Ms. Underwood during different review hearings. And I think I've hit on a couple of the things that really demonstrate that as recently as June. The police involvement in June. It was noted at our last hearing that he remains verbally aggressive and combative towards service providers when he disagrees with them. The drug screens were positive for methamphetamine and amphetamine, despite denial of use of those substances. He denies, he says that he's always been prepared for visits, that when the child was in his home with Ms. Hollis, he remarked that their relationship was great when she was there as to his daughter. Which is really quite remarkable when you look at the petition for removal, which noted that Ms. Hollis was found in a ditch in a psychotic episode, and him not concerned about that piece at all. As it relates to the relative placement piece, I'll address that when we get back to the second aspect of the best interest factors findings. But he was very consistent during hearings, indicating that he's all dead to me. As to the relative placement, he was very angry and upset when the child was placed with relatives and blamed relatives as well as the department and the court for the removal. When he was asked why the child was removed, he said, quote, "Because my sister's an asshole, that's why," quote. He even became combative with his own attorney when going over the report. And I understand that this is a high stress situation, but these are just further demonstrations that the dynamics in the home that were identified at the outset of the case remain in full force and effect. Those dynamics very clearly affected this child, and she would be at significant risk of harm if returned to his care. As an extension of that, Ms. Hollis has decided that the best way forward for her is to marry Mr. Hollis during the court period of jurisdiction. So obviously that places, if her child were to be returned to her, that would place this child squarely in the home of Mr. Hollis, at risk of all of the indications the courts just reviewed. Secondarily, she too has failed to benefit from services in any significant way during the period of time that the case has been open. There were some really serious, significant psychiatric issues happening for her. They continued over the period of time that the court's jurisdiction was open. She was hospitalized in December of 2024 for a potential suicide attempt, and this was one of, I think, 4 prior attempts, one of which was just a few months before that, as I recall, roughly. We, of course, had the continued domestic violence that was happening in the home, or the reports of domestic violence. We have police show up as recently as June 4th, 2025, wherein she was recognized as having a mark on her face, but denied that anything got more than physical or more than verbal, and didn't seem to have an issue or to think that it was an issue at all, that the verbal argument escalated to the point that she did sustain an injury, whether that was directly from Mr. Hollis or from the breaking window glass. Her remarks on her progress indicated that she is calmer now, which is great. She, for example, is not living in a car. She's not running away every 5 minutes or attacking Harold, which were all remarkable to the court. And also really are admissions of the kind of things that were clearly happening at some point in the past, which just goes to show that the dynamics in the home were not okay at the time that the child was removed, and that they were deviations from the norm to the extent that they were causing harm to the child. Let's see. She had not engaged in inpatient treatment, as Ms. Underwood noted. She had not engaged in outpatient treatment for AA or NA. She remarked when she was asked about the removal that, quote, "We didn't hurt her. She was going to her doctor's appointments. We were doing what we were supposed to do." Some of her other remarks included, "We didn't do anything wrong. Okay, I have a substance problem, but I can fix it." So these are, again, remarks that indicate that there's a real disconnect here in understanding how the dynamics in the home were directly affecting the child, how her failure to take care of her mental health were in the outgrowth of that, whether that's attacking Harold, hearing things that weren't there, or failing to notice when her daughter needed services, or taking her to those services. All of those things were affecting her child very significantly. And as recently as in the last couple of weeks, she still does not understand that that's affecting the child. The court finds certainly that that is a serious indication that there is no reasonable period of time, considering this child's age, that the conditions that led to the adjudication would be remedied. I also find that not only because of her continued residence with Mr. Hollis, but because of her own lack of progress, her continued intermittent at best treatment for her psychiatric issues. For example, she's discontinued from several different service providers. She's in and out of psychiatric care and counseling. We had the remark from Orchard's Family Services that those services were terminated because she was going to go for inpatient services around her addiction, which really is significant backsliding and discovery of how significant that identified issue really is and getting in the way potentially, or it was just another excuse because she really didn't think that there was anything wrong and didn't really think she needed to engage in learning about how to better parent a child. So for whatever those reasons are, she continues to have all of those struggles complicated by her use of methamphetamines. It's in significant disconnect in understanding her child's significant needs, or the gaps that were in place that led to those significant needs. So I do find there is clear and convincing evidence also to terminate her parental rights under C, I, and J. There's no question there will be a significant risk of harm if that child was returned to the care of her mother today. As I look at the best interest factors, one of the first things that we address is the child-parent bond, which I have spoken to. Again, I think that there's affection there. Harold Hollis's interactions with his daughter, to a limited extent, do demonstrate that affectionate bond. There was really no, frankly, to put it colloquially, Whaley. There's really not a lot of love lost between Ms. Erica and her daughter, as was noted during the CTAC evaluation. She's pretty disconnected, which is very consistent, I think, with what's been noted on her psychiatric issues, where she's really just not there sometimes. And I'm sure that her daughter was very aware of that and was aware that trying to rely on her mom, who maybe wasn't even seeing or hearing things that were there, was not the best idea, and certainly undermined the parent-child bond in those circumstances. But the bond associated with the father and the child also was marked by, obviously, the dynamics of domestic violence in the home, which was demonstrated by her fear of men, and the insecurity around food and hiding from people do indicate that. And I would say, and Mr. Hollis being essentially the sole provider for Ms. Hollis as well as this child during that period of time, can only be characterized as part of his parent-child bond with his daughter. So yes, there's a bond there that has some highlights, but for the most part, it's characterized by a lot of very, very dangerous things that significantly limited her development and caused her a lot of challenges that she continues to try to overcome. She's a very young child. She has a significant need for stability and permanency, especially given her continued struggles in those cognitive delay areas. Now they're looking at whether or not she needs to be provided with asthma support. She's going in for that evaluation soon. She's still doing speech therapy as she heads into preschool and already has an IEP for those things. She's been working on overcoming some of those developmental delays over the course of several different review hearings. We've heard about her progress in the home where she is now, which is a stable, safe, relative environment. Both of the parents failed to take advantage of the relative placement in some of the traditional ways. They both felt that the relatives were part of the problem since they took in their daughter, since the relatives took in their daughter and really cut themselves off completely from any kind of interaction with the relatives. So they weren't able to enjoy some of those extra potentially extra contacts, like during family events or holidays or phone calls. So despite the relative placement, I do find that it's in the best interest of this child to terminate the parental rights of both parents. We had, of course, that supported by our LGAL and the caseworker. The child is too young to express a preference. There is a high likelihood of her being adopted into the home where she is now. She is bonded with that household, which has provided her the safe and stable environment that she needs moving forward, the medical care and development care to provide for her developmental needs. So there's a lot of reasons that Melanie has done, or the child, I should say, has done as well as she has. And those are attributed, unfortunately, not to the parents, but rather to the department's decision to ask the court to remove the child and to require attention to this child for the challenges that she had and needed to overcome as a result of her exposure to her parents in her home. So we will enter an order terminating the parental rights of Harold and Erica Hollis. There will be no further efforts towards reunification or to prevent removal. The child will be directed to at the adoption completely from this point forward, and we'll monitor the department's efforts on that as we move forward, and I'll issue orders to that effect. Both parents have the right to appeal. The orders will be provided to them if they choose to exercise that, including an attorney if they can't afford one on their own. I'll go ahead and set a review hearing after we're off the air, as from this point forward, essentially, we're going to be operating under the adoption code, which is confidential. Unless there's any questions, that's all for today.